more squads will claim a spot on the main stage. But for two others, the road ends here. MIBR play 2025 EWC winners Team Heretics to top Group D. All gamers take on Global Esports with the loser heading home. And after that, G2 will face off against XLG to avoid an early... It's the end of the road for two squads, but the main stage glory for others. The stakes have been raised. Welcome to Day 4.
Hi, everybody. My name's Chris Bucket, and I like to plant spikes. Welcome to Day 4.
I do, and I'm glad you consider us friends, Puckett. I really feel like our bond has grown so much stronger as I've watched all of my friends from Pacific, unfortunately, continue to lose.
Pacific is not always winning.
That is.
But America's...
But EMEA actually was probably the story of yesterday. Athena, how do you feel coming into the final day for week 1?
I wasn't actually convinced by EMEA until recently. I feel like they've kind of gone up on my list. I was really excited after yesterday. That last game was so insane to watch. Energy versus Vitality. So fun to cast. And of course, Energy actually dropping down. That was a big surprise, but I think it was really cool.
Now we dove into our first 3 days of action. We've sent our first 2 teams into the playoff bracket. We have 2 more eliminated, but let's remind you all how we got here and where we're going in a quick format reminder.
Today, 2 more squads will claim a spot on the main stage. But for 2 others, the road ends here. MIBR play 2025 EWC winners Team Heretics to top Group D. All gamers take on Global Esports with the loser heading home. And after that, G2 will face off against XLG to avoid an early exit. While Gentlemen take on Nongshim Red Force for a chance to play in front of their home fans. It's the end of the road for 2 squads, but the main stage glory for others. The stakes have been raised. Welcome to Day 4.
Valorant is back at the Esports World Cup for a second year, and this time everything is bigger and better. We've added an entire extra week of competition, made sure all matches are at least a best of 3, and added an extra $750,000 to the prize pool to bring it up to $2 million. You don't want to miss a single second of this. 16 of the world's best teams have earned a spot here at the Esports World Cup. As the EWC 2025 winner, Team Heretics from EMEA and Edward Gaming from China. As Team Heretics won VCT EMEA, but already qualified to EWC as the title defender, the second-place EMEA squad, Team Vitality, also received an invite. The remaining teams all battled their way through the online qualifiers to make it here. 3 teams from EMEA, Pacific, and the Americas earned spots through each region's qualifier, while the top bring 4 groups of 4 teams. Teams will play a double elimination bracket. Win 2 matches, and you advance to playoffs on the main stage. Lose 2, and you head home early. All group stage matches will be a best of 3. The top 2 teams from each group will advance to the single elimination playoffs. Matches here will also be a best of 3, until we reach the grand final where 2 teams will face off in an epic best of 5. There will also be a third-place decider match played just before the grand final. That's everything you need to know, so let's jump straight into action. It's time to kick off Valorant at EWC 2026.
అటు మంచం మీద ఉన్నాయి సైడ్ కి.
So there you have it. It's pretty simple stuff. We started with 16 teams. We've sent our first 2 packing. Unfortunately for Pilsky, they were both from his region, Pacific. But we have an NA squad and an EMEA team in. Will we get our first Chinese team or Pacific squad moving through from this group? One of them is going out early tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this matchup at least is a little bit of a toss-up. I've more so got my eyes on the game between Nongshim and Gentlemates later on. I think there's a reasonable chance for Pacific to actually have some success success over there, but we're going to have to get through the appetizer first.
Let's talk a little bit about the money because there's some serious cash on the line. $2 million is the new prize pool. Athena, how's it going to break down? How exciting is this for the players?
Now, this is actually insane. I mean, $2 million just for the one game, Valorant. That's wild. And of course, coming out, I think that first place gets $600,000 as the prize. That's something that they're really going to chase because it's insane. It's a big amount of money. Imagine the amount of things and equipment and stuff you could add to your company, especially as a club. Plus, when they do win that first place, that is 1,000 points given to them in terms of the club points for them overall in the tournament.
Yeah, and Valorant is first off the ranks, so if you're able to get yourself a good placement here and get yourself plenty of club championship points, I think that's going to go quite well for you as you head throughout the rest of the competition and start to test yourself in some other titles.
Good call-outs there. Let's remind you all what happened in our STC replay of what went down. We've got the best highlights here, Athena, and we saw so many headshots, so many great compositions, and a whole lot of Lotus and Breeze yesterday.
Oh, my
When you're
God.
looking back at top performers, who do you remember from day 3?
Oh my God, I'm thinking Durka for sure yesterday. I feel like I was just watching him the whole time and just losing my mind. And I feel like there were so many crazy clutches from yesterday specifically. And those highlights, they're really going to show that.
Yeah, when we get into these STC replay highlights, I'm pretty excited to show you some of the best gameplay that we've witnessed so far. Pilsky, we had a 30-round game. Will anything go that far in overtimes, or was that the best we're going to get from groups?
Oh, I think there's potential for more. I definitely think there's potential for more. I'm hoping that we're going to get it here. If we get it in this first game, it might be a messy 30-plus round game with, you know, a little bit of tossing. People will be, you know, trying to, you know, test themselves out. Yeah, things like that. So, but those are the exciting games. I personally, you know, some people, especially in EMEA, they're a little bit snobby. They're like, yeah, I like it when they play perfectly. Let's get all our things in a row. Let's make sure we run the default properly. No, man. Get the shotties out, you know, get some thrifties going, get some excitement going. That's what APAC's all about.
Yeah, I'm all about the half buys. Let's see if we can make it work with a few ults. Let's take a look here at some of the big plays and, of course, the entrance on the day from EDG. Edward Gaming was able to take the stage against RRQ, and RRQ, well, they've struggled historically in international lands. Yesterday was no different. Did they play better, though, in their opening round?
In the second map, yes, but one map is not good enough to make a run at EWC, and unfortunately here, they will be quickly shuffled out of the tournament. For EDG, just continue to go strength to strength as far as I'm concerned, despite playing with a stand-in. It seems like they're a reasonable threat here. Are they going to be able to bounce back against BBL in a rematch? I'm not so sure. I think they're kind of settling themselves from, I guess, being an elite team, a top team in the world, as we saw over at London, as we've seen in many international runs for EDG, to just being a decent team within this tournament. You've got to ask questions of a team that comes in with a stand-in at the end of the day.
I do also think when you're looking at EDG, that coach playing signed, somehow he's playing insane. He's been phenomenal. I feel like a lot of these rounds, he's really done such a good job, especially when he's playing on that controller as the Harbor on this map. He was just holding it down, anchoring really well. And then when the time came in, they used a lot of that util very phenomenally. I think in general, too, you always get a little bit of a buff playing with your coach. And then this game,
NRG Vitality, best match of the group so far. If you missed it, go back and watch it on YouTube in between our breaks, specifically this map number 1, because NRG was looking flawless to open things up. And then all of a sudden, Vitality showing some life in the second half, Pilsky.
Those overtime rounds killed me, and I'm sure that they killed NRG inside as well. Honestly, I thought they were going to bow out of the series swiftly after losing that game, because I would be very much on tilt. Ascent was theirs on a silver platter, and then you're seeing multi-frags like that out of Vitality. But at the end of the day, with two teams of this caliber, this could be an international event grand final as far as I'm concerned. And I think at the end of the day, of course, one of them deservingly moving on in towards the playoffs, and we might honestly see them both in the playoffs at the end of the day once we play through the rest of the group.
That ace is one of the rounds that I was talking about. Durka, he's just on fire. The mechanics were insane. Of course, that 2v5 as well from one of those players on Ascent. It was just so nice to watch, but it was really back and forth. And I think for me, the standout of this game was the fact that the mid-rounding was just so good. It felt like both these teams were so understanding of when to slow down the round, play really passive, and bait a lot of those executes and bait a lot of that util. And that's why every round ended in a bloodbath, because the first half of every single round, they're just slow, holding, and they're trying to execute with such low time on the clock. So overall, it was insane.
I don't want to blame the comp here and the coaching decision, but when Mata is this hot on the Rays, why do you put him on a Harbor? I feel like you want him on the W key, don't you?
I'm not going to lie, Puckett. This
Hold
has
on.
been a question I've had of many teams, including
Don't
teams
you
in
want him on
Pacific.
the W key?
Hold on.
He's winning with it?
The first time he pulled out the Harbor in Americas, we were all floored. We were like, no, absolutely not. Why would he do that? He played insane. I think he still managed to top frag. And I think when you're on Harbor, you have util to support yourself. Make yourself that playmaker on site. And I think it was really valid. Plus, you have Kiko on the op. Why would you change
So
it
you're
up?
surprised that good player is good on multiple
You're the one who's
characters?
surprised, not
We're
me.
making excuses for Marta. We're making excuses for Ethan playing Neon.
Hey.
It will never end until...
It worked, kind of.
They
All
lost.
It worked.
They should have won, though.
Will it work for them later in the tournament? They sure hope so. Otherwise, they're out. Let's take a look at our schedule. Reminder, Carmine Core is going to be playing against a very interesting NRG matchup because Carmine Core took out Paper X at the end of yesterday.
Yeah, can we just skip that? Let's just talk
Yeah.
about the schedule.
We'll just talk about what we have in front of us because Nongshim Red Force is now the big hope, and you can catch them here in the second match against the Gentlemates. We open it up with the elimination battle, AGAL versus Global Esports. Who wants it more, Athena?
Ooh, I think here I'm looking at all gamers, man. I think they have a lot to prove. They struggled. They didn't qualify for Masters London. They were that 4th seed in China, just missing out on qualifying. And I feel like they're really looking for redemption here, especially on a global stage.
Yeah, of course, very competitive domestically, coming through in first place straight out of kickoff from China. I think being seeded ahead in an international event maybe didn't give them the momentum that they needed and the practice. They're a team that is still growing, and I think that this EWC event is just another opportunity for all gamers to continue that path to being an elite squad.
I just heard some yelling from behind the scenes. These teams are getting themselves fired up. Everyone's been watching the World Cup, knowing how to get a little bit of energy going before we dive in. I was told we've got some more assets. We can just keep rolling on production as Athena. We get ready for this one. AGAL went to a game 3.
Yes.
Do you think they're able to clean this one up in a 2-0? Or
Ooh.
do they have weaknesses in the map pool? Or do teams have certain strengths? How does this play out?
Okay, respectfully, based off what I saw from Global Esports, I think All Gamers has it in them to 2-0 because the way I saw them playing against Heretics, I actually was genuinely surprised. That first map of Haven, it was their permaban for such a long time, and then they 11-13 lost. They had a crazy 6-round win streak to almost take it to overtime versus Heretics, and of course, you're thinking of Heretics, they're last year's EWC winners, so it's kind of crazy that they made it that close. So I'm looking for a 2-0 here from All Gamers.
We've
That's
got
my
Heretics
prediction.
versus MIBR over on the other stream. Thoughts on what we've seen so far in this group? Is it how it played out according to the experts coming into EWC?
I think, as far as I'm concerned, we've got 3 shaky teams in this group and then an MIBR who is probably just going to continue to put their feet up. Of course, we all know how good Heretics can be when they play to their ceiling. They are definitely good enough to beat MIBR, but form-wise, they're going to have to really turn things around because as far as I'm concerned, All Gamers should have won that series in the opening match.
Heretics are EWC champions returning from last year. Benji Fishy and a whole bunch of highlights. Can we see some highlights, though, from AGAL or Global Esports? Reminder, this decides whether you're going out in the bottom 4 or if you're able to climb into the 9th through 12th. That's a big difference. If you win a following matchup, then you're into our top 8. This is our elimination bracket. It is GSL style. This is an old school format. Lose 2 and you're out. So all the pressure is on them right now. Athena, one more time. If you're looking for stars from this matchup in particular, do you have just 2 names to look at?
Okay, for me, number 1, Kira, duelist for AG, but also I'm looking at Shrimp. He's actually their initiator, and he's been insane. It feels like this guy has just consistently put up numbers, supported Kira on every frag, but also been there to trade almost every single time.
We've got our maps here. The bands come through for Lotus and Breeze. Talk me through the picks.
I mean, this is really classic GE, even without Frost on the lineup. I like the fact that they're quite happy to take a little bit of a different look into the map pool, to pick the map that is most freshly on into it and try to take a little bit of a risk, force the other team to show their preparation on a map that hasn't been around for that long. I will say, though, that All Gamers, having missed out on Masters London, have probably got a little bit more time to prep this than GE might have. And then Split will be the follow-up here for All Gamers, which, to be honest, I don't mind at all for global esports.
Really?
Yeah.
This is All Gamers' best map. They love this map. They played this map in every single series that they played for the EWC qualifier, and they won it every single time.
So you let them have their best map, but don't you have a lot of footage to prep on it?
True. But also you pick a Sunset where you don't have any footage of them on it. It's kind of scary.
A little bit risky.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Going into the decider, how do we feel about our team matching up on Ascent if you're global esports? Because didn't look so pretty in the opening round.
I totally agree with you. That's cause for concern. On the other side of things, All Gamers, I thought they looked fantastic against Heretics. That was a very good map for them. GRQ was great on the Phoenix. I will say, though, that GE in the Ho Chi Minh finals against Paper X, Ascent was the only map that they were competitive on, quite honestly. So I think that there's more in the tank. And again, I'm going to say this probably all day today in this series. MIBR cannot play, Global Esports cannot play worse than they played against MIBR. It's only up from here. I expect them to at least take a map.
Is that a challenge or?
Yeah.
Not a challenge? No, I think for me, this is so All Gamers sided. I think this veto goes right into their hands. The only big question mark here is Sunset for both of these teams.
I mean, that is a big question mark. I think Ascent probably definitely leads the way of All Gamers, but I honestly don't think that even if you're really good at Split, that's showing some confidence to pick it into global esports. But historically, that's a map that they used to pick. The core of this team loves Split, and they know their way around it very well.
Athena, have you cast a Sunset yet on this stream?
I haven't.
Right?
Not yet. Have we even seen a Sunset on the
I don't
B
think
stream?
it's graced the B stream.
It has not.
Mitch, what should we kind of expect here, Pilsky? Is it a preferred bomb site? Is it attack heavy, defense heavy? What have you seen from Sunset in the past?
I think it's just in flux at the moment.
Yeah.
Whenever a new map comes back into the pool, you haven't really got an established meta on it. So many agents have changed at this point, so we need to kind of get those reps in to get a good idea of how it's going to play out.
All I can say is
Go ahead.
I hated playing this map.
I love playing this map.
Really?
Yeah.
I hated playing this map. The only reason was because of the breach meta. I played it when the breach meta was still there. There's stuns towards market every single round.
Every round.
That sounds like you ran into the trap
Whoa,
every round.
whoa.
We've got our players out on the stage. Let's introduce some of the beautiful faces gracing Valorant tonight. Walk me through our first squad as our cameras are going to settle in. We've got Global Esports on the right. On the left, of course, is AGAL. And we're going to start here with the Global squad. So please, Pilsky, walk me through.
I mean, Yudatan, the only Korean player that made it to Masters London. Did have some coaching staff making it over there. Rest in peace to the Korean scene. Hopefully, we can start to pick things up going forward. Nongshim's definitely flying the flag over here in Paris, but a fantastic duelist, very underrated. On the other side of things, this is a big fragging presence here on All Gamers. Fangir really lit up the server in VCTCN to get that first seed coming through into Santiago, and he just continues to go to strength as the Russian player on this Chinese squad. But here's another man that's played plenty in China. He's going to know his way around playing against All Gamers. Bottom.
I thought you were going to keep going. That's your boy.
Yeah,
that's your Australian boy. And you're just letting me go for it?
Look,
that's crazy.
I was hoping you were going to.
It was honestly a great
like,
hand up. I thought you crushed it. Taking a look here at our agents, we've got the Phoenix.
You throw the ball and it just hits him in the face.
Yeah, it's early. It's the first match.
I literally was like, there's no
pass.
way you're giving this to me. This is your boy. But I really like this agent select because I think this is very similar to how both these teams like to play. A lot of the double duelists on lock, so I think it's really interesting. Udotan on that Neon's always going to perform. Autumn on the Phoenix has done a good job. Then on the other side, Kira with that raise, he's been phenomenal so far. For me, Fangir on Neon though, I feel like he had a really, really good series so far on that chamber. I was kind of looking for that, but the Cypher makes a lot of sense because it's so hard to play without that real Senti util.
Who's this shrimp guy? Because looking at the numbers, he was the most impressive from all gamers. He had plus 11 overall, but also contributing in the assists. Seems to be very involved in a lot of the fights.
I'm going to do a hand movement for you. This won't be on camera, but I want you to. This is what shrimp means. Okay, this is what he does to people, and that's all. What do you think of that, Puckett? Is that intimidating? If you stand up on the stage and do that in the direction of the other team, does that make you upset?
Well, is he like a mantis shrimp? Because they've got the most powerful punch of any creature.
Really?
Yeah, pound for pound. They're the strongest in the game,
that
baby.
explains a lot. Thank you. I'll
You're
take
welcome.
that information with me as we head into the series.
I've got a 4-year-old. We've been watching a lot of nature stuff. It's awesome. Here's a look. Global Esports has looked terrible. They got rid of their coach, but it is a brand new day. They've had all kinds of footage to review. The question is, are they ready for AGAL? We hand the mic over. It's Pilsky and Athena for map number 1.
Yeah, cheers, Pucker. It is the first game here on the B stream. Elimination game between Global Esports and All Gamers. Global getting knocked into the lower bracket by an MIBR who looks like they're on the warpath straight into a top 4 as far as I'm concerned. We'll see how they go in their next game. That'll be over on the A stream. And All Gamers, quite frankly, had that Heretics game in the bag, but Heretics ever troublesome to try to close out against.
Yeah, it seems like they had a really good understanding of how they wanted to play and the maps, but we're going to jump right into the action right away because these players are contact playing towards this B main, but there's a trap set up here from Global Esports. Gets the flash down, he gets that on 4 players, but the Cypher Cage is phenomenal. Crystal getting that pick onto Fangir, but Shrimp getting that initial one.
Yeah, gorgeous cage from Pi. Really avoids what would have been a disaster for All Gamers in this pistol, slowing things down towards B main. The other side of things, Harvey a little bit concerned that there is going to be some pressure towards A, looking to play retake with the trip still up on short, and of course with the dark cover towards top middle. All Gamers trying to cause a little bit of reaction or a rotation for Global.
Feels like these teams at a standstill. GE gonna try to regress, get some sort of information, at least get a numbers advantage, but they choose not to go. Udo there, he's late. The rest of his team kind of playing all the way back. That smoke is gonna come in. The execute's gonna start. Udo with a pick onto GRQ, and all of a sudden the numbers are down here. Kira just getting spammed down by Crystal. The fast flood is already here for Global Esports, pushing into that smoke, but Udo gets that pick and Shrimp left in a 1v4.
Not much to do. At least one exit on the way out. 30 HP and nothing left in the Ghost here. Reload comes out, but he's pinned into the corner by all of GE. And with only 12 seconds on the clock, it feels like a matter of time here. Harvey will put him down. And it's a great pistol for Global Esports. I felt like they had a good read early on that they didn't take full advantage of. And then in the mid-round, I think there's a big difference in... I guess decision trees or pathways that we're going to head down. If Yudatan chooses to push B main there, that's probably just the round over, but his patience is very much rewarded.
Yeah, I love that Cypher Cage right there. So nice to prevent, but Udo just getting away with so many of these free picks, walking through those smokes, trying to prevent and slow down the execute. We're going to go back to another trap play here from Global Esports, but this time they're gambling that wrong site. That's information going to be had really quick, while the whole rest of the roster of AG are on the side of B.
Orb tapped, trying to bait out some kind of trap. They just had to deal with one in one round previous. Kira built himself closer to a showstopper here. Crystal looking for some toes. No one crossing mid just yet.
Looking for some dogs.
Yeah, that's a good camp.
Running towards that
many Cypher players are toe enthusiasts.
No, I'm not going on this train.
Okay.
GE, they have a nice little setup here towards A main. That Marshall going to be able to spot any contact here. Fangir running right into it. Actually whiffs the shot. Udo tries to get another one. Peeks through those double walls. Patman stuck on this corner. GRQ has a feeling, but Autumn is there to support him. Patman with a pick onto Shrimp. And all of a sudden, it looks like All Gamers are not getting any of these picks that they're trying to. Pushing forward the confidence from Udo.
Yep, that's a little bit more like it for Global Esports. Despite some shaky stuff on the Marshall, still able to clean up all Gamers relatively easily. Haven't had too much of a contest just yet. This sunset pick for Global Esports is really going to test the limits of All Gamers map pool. Nothing really too exciting coming out compositionally from either of these teams. It is a double duelist off with a slight difference in the choice.
Okay, now.
Pros and cons to both. The Phoenix very strong in this meta, but Raze is a classic on this map.
Shrimp. His util's been so phenomenal. I really like the idea of having a lot of those seize, nade, trap plays towards their defense side when they do switch over here for AG. But gun round on lock, trap towards mid, running out of market. It's Javi, gets the pick onto buy, and all of a sudden this round has kind of fallen apart for AG. We need to do something with these weapons.
One trade back from Kira. That was just such a perfect curveball paranoia with the haunt for the scan to open up an early pick for Global Esports, and they're not done just yet. Dark cover towards bottom middle. Harvey going to take just trying to slip on through here. Fangir somewhat cognizant of this, but the timing is not good for him, and that's an opening pick here yet again in the mid-round for Harvey, who continues to push the issue, confirms that All Gamers are outside of A. TP away here as they're looking to meet up with Kira towards that B side of the map, but Crystal has got a gorgeous deep cam and a one-way if this push comes in. And I think all gamers may struggle to get into the site here if Crystal is well positioned.
Yep. Patman towards that A site. He has a Prowler too, and that Haunt is back up for him to scan, get the info. But they don't really care because that weak side. Cypher fully set up here, like you said. The Execute's going to come in. The nade to try to break any of those close trips. Prowler comes in, doesn't get anyone. They're giving up that site and planning to play retake. They have a lot of really good retake util on Patman with the fade dog and that fade eye.
Grease work onto market side here for all gamers. Patman applying pressure for the flank. GRQ breaking through onto Udatan. That is a lot of entry power. Not really going to be having too much impact anymore. Offangle's looking pretty good for Kira on the other side of this one. Should be able to pick up Crystal if he goes unchecked. Nice little high-low on the other side of things. Isn't even needed. An easy one for Shrimp. All gamers, it was getting a little bit sweaty, but it looks like they are well and truly on top of this one.
Nice one.
Round will be run regardless. Maybe not in clean as a fashion as they would have liked to, losing Kira there on spawn side. But Global Esports still well and truly in on this one. Look how much economy they have. They will concede this round. But really, it's looking to be death by 1,000 cuts if possible. All gamers will celebrate that one, but I think it might be a little early at this point, honestly.
Yeah, 3 weapons down. That's a little bit too expensive. We're going to have, at best, that light armor coming online for the rest of all gamers. But seems like they're both doing really good jobs at being proactive. I feel like for me, GE, they're really surprising me with their defense rounds right now. Using a lot of
You haven't seen them win many rounds, have you? Wow. These guys are
what was
good.
it, 5 total? 5 total versus MIBR?
They are so much better than that series, I have to be honest. And the op is out now for Udatan. Over on towards this B line. Bit more of a spread approach from all gamers to start this one off. Tapping away, looking to try to take out any cams or early haunts. Dark cover in towards middle. Udatan has been established on this info line, hand in hand with Autumn, who will probably try to continue to build his run it back.
Slow default here for all gamers. 2-on-2. Looking to end towards A. That paranoia in the hands of GRQ. The Prowler actually catching onto that op. That's a really good pushback. Fangir using those walls to make sure they're getting that space, but still not entering towards elbow. Trying to ping pong towards that B main where Kira's trying to apply some pressure here with Bai.
Yep. It's a classic kind of skirmishy approach. Deny information to the defense and look for a reaction elsewhere. Have both Bai and Kira ready for the re-aggression into B main if that was what was going to be on the cards. But as it stands, Autumn has retaken this A info line very nicely, and the rotation's already coming in for GE as all gamers prep themselves for the B execute.
Slow, but it's okay. They're grouped up. But 3 players here on the side of GE already on site. The Prowler's going to come in. The dash out. So much movement. The Haunt's going to scan, but no one's connecting. Shots. Kira getting the pick onto Crystal and Uda. That's 2 for him. And now all of a sudden that default, that defense has fallen apart for these players. Running out of the smoke is Javi, not able to get anything. Patman and Autumn now all of a sudden left in that 2v5.
Fangir wants to do it, but he's very low on HP. Need a clean round here as all gamers, and they're all still kind of trapped inside of the site. Global Esports very much playing for exits at this point. Op picked up by Kira. Fangir and GRQ barely clinging to life, and they're going to choose the path of least resistance, pushing over here in towards defense spawn. That's going to be fantastic for them to establish a foothold in this game of Sunset. Should be fine at the end of this one, unless they run into Patman.
Both teams definitely have done a lot of work.
Ooh, which one would you choose? This is my favorite thing to do.
Which one?
Oh, it's too late.
I didn't look.
We're already past.
The umbrellas?
No, they were dresses.
Oh, what colors were they?
There was like a wedding dress. There was like a little pink number, you know.
Give me the pink.
Oh, man. Honestly, that round for GE, I felt like they were in all the right positions, and it just was not clean enough. Like, that was just an awkward little exchange. Kira runs into the site and very easily gets a little double entry on, despite a good rotation time for GE. You're attacking into the Storm side. The op and the Cypher are both on that side that AG are attacking into. Like, you have everything you need to hold there as GE, and you get absolutely nothing done.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just none of the shots were connecting. They were trying to play around those smokes, but just couldn't find anything. And I think now this timeout for GE actually showing to all gamers that that was a round that they knew that they should have won as well. Knowing that they were stacked there, trying to talk about their crossfires, or at least make sure they're cleaning up their setups, because like you said, that macro on that defensive round was really, really good. Almost perfect, I would say, just up until that execute. So maybe talking about maybe the util that they were supposed to use to slow down the execute, to separate, to isolate, or why they just weren't playing together.
I mean, yeah. You would have ideally, especially with the Omen in on the rotation, liked a nice paranoia timing through the site that the players were able to play off, or the op to be able to cleanly trying to find an opening pick. I'm not even sure I heard an op shot, quite honestly, and it felt like Crystal was just on a bit of an awkward angle. Regardless, all gamers will take full advantage of that. A very, very nice follow-up despite not a great start. It feels like they are in full control now. GE getting a little bit of a mid-walk going on. We'll see how all gamers deal with this.
The op on by. Good spot to be in. Holding for this pick. Padman's about to peek that top mid. Gets the pick by putting in the work. But this whole time, Javi, he's walked all the way down that mid. Bai is not falling for it, though, playing really passive. Everyone on All Gamers, they're not giving up that numbers advantage now, knowing that GE have been so proactive in pushing and taking contact.
Now, there's even been a ping on Harvey's line here. GRQ very convinced that there could be somebody peeking in from this angle. The spacing is excellent from All Gamers. Stinger can only get so much done, let's be honest, and I saw it in the player cam. A lapse of concentration for just a second on Harvey. Just seems like GE are not quite focused enough here in the opening parts of this game. Need to switch on a little bit more. All Gamers, just a slow offense. Very safe on the anti-eco, but they will be heading towards the strong side with Crystal and Autumn in tow.
Autumn's going to be a big player here. That Prowler is going to catch him off guard, though. Shrimp immediately shutting down Crystal. 2 kills for Autumn. Is shut down by Shrimp, and now Udo just running. They're going to hear that. Turning around is Fangir with that op. Gets the pick. And it's just a shutdown for All Gamers.
Yeah, very simple, very structured, but sometimes those are the best rounds. Don't need to do anything fancy as All Gamers. Just hold the angles and give them enough rope to hang themselves with. Economy is very, very good on this attacking side now. It's up to GE now that they've started to get some ults in the mix, especially courtesy of that multi-frag from Autumn to show some better rounds. Taking the timeout in towards the round previous wouldn't have been their focus. Now we need to start to see the adjustments coming in.
Gun round here for both teams. The ults online. 3 of them towards the side of Global Esports. But they're not playing too aggressive just yet. Keeping that elbow control on that A main. Fangir with this operator just trying to find a pick. Shoots at the lever because he thought it was a gun. Honestly, I would do that same thing. Honestly, we've all been there.
Well, doesn't elapse in too much. Go ball out on the line. Yutatan dealing with the trip, just spamming away. That's a little bit of a win for GE here, but with All Gamers really taking their time, spreading the map, and looking for a pick, it's eyes on Kira and Fangir v Yutatan, who is all on his lonesome. The dark cover almost creates an opportunity for Yutatan to take advantage of, but as has been the case all of these rounds, it's just not quite right.
Oh my god, that sucks. 9 HP on Fangir. He got the dink through the wall, through that box, but it just wasn't enough. And now just those. The nades coming in, the wall's in, a full execute. The rocket is popped from Kira. He's going to be able to get one fully blinded. GRQ with a pick onto Crystal as well. And a 2v5. This is so rough for Global Esports.
I mean, All Gamers are just rolling these sites. Similar to what we saw against Heretics, they were pretty effortlessly able to work their way through the map. Let's run on into these sites on Lotus in particular, and find man advantage. Just saw the same thing on Ascent. Very well drilled. This squad straight out of VCTCN. A region where Autumn is not used to losing. Unless he's playing EDG.
Four ults online though for GE for next round. Autumn just getting a nice little exit there on Kira. Patman holding. But I think this round now, this next round, they're going to be a little bit broke, but they have a lot of these winning condition ults. I'm really curious if we're going to see Udo do some sort of play with that Neon ult, pushing aggressive, maybe taking a lot of that space, but they have to be aware of this op. They need to find that first and just make sure they're not pushing into it, because they've been punished by that now. 2 rounds in a row. Bai in mid, Udo on that A main. They're just getting those initial peaks, letting them run into them almost every single time.
Yeah, it's a painfully slow offense for All Gamers, like nails on a chalkboard, but sometimes those are the hardest kind of rounds to play against, where, you know, you just lose concentration a little bit. The other team had their head screwed on nicely. And then they're coming in with full confidence, and all it takes is a mistake or two from GE, and things can kind of fall apart. Now we're going to get yet another fight over this A side of the map. Curve, rather the Molly and the Prowler in combination with the one-way will again secure the one-way. Overdrive being held here by Udatan, as there are a couple of rifles kept over from the previous round. So once again, a winnable round for GE.
Yeah.
And another, as I said, painfully slow round for all gamers.
Setting up Udo once again towards A main. Trying to figure out why this B site can't be held with that Cypher util as well. Trying to delay for as long as possible. They have 2 players already set up on this site. And the up-down, the high-low, top-mid here. Patman and Autumn, they're just holding, trying to get a pick. Udo gets spotted out by Fangir, and they're going to actually execute.
Yeah, perfection.
W.
Just punishing those age-old positions that you're often playing. Patman will go down as well. That's one of the Vandals that you wanted to have in play. Autumn trying to put on his cape here, run it back active, and it's a complete disengage from all gamers.
Now they're running back towards that mid. Not going to fully execute yet. They're grouping B, but again, the Cypher util here, but why not? It's worked for them almost every single round. That one-way cage is going to go up. It's going to get blocked by Vi's cage. The Nightmare going online. Fangir getting his 3 kills. Kira is dropped by Crystal. 2v4 all of a sudden. They're trying to push this back side. Crystal punishes them. Autumn's there to trade, but isn't able to get anything.
Yeah, 5 in a row for all gamers. This is looking a little bit too easy. And I'm getting concerned about global esports, especially because of what we saw in their opening game. Feels like Groundhog Day here from one of the hopeful teams out of Pacific.
Fangir, I feel like on the operator, has done such a good job. I think he's one of the main players I was looking at when I was watching them play against Heretics. On his chamber, getting a lot of those opening picks. It was really nice to see, and so I'm kind of worried here for GE as well, in the sense of them not being able to push back that operator, constantly getting punished by it. Udo, he's fallen for that same thing. 2 rounds in a row, make it 3 almost. And it's just really hard for me, for GE, to understand how they can adapt. And instead of adapting by not playing there anymore, they've pushed all the way up towards A main.
Yep, both of the duelists on the front foot here. Camera spotted out by Fangir, who was looking a pick towards B main. GRQ trying to disengage there with the paranoia, and Autumn will lose his life.
The trap setups were working for GE, but now they've just fallen into this trap of overextending themselves almost. Another pick down, making it 4v5 here, and all gamers, they're just gonna sit. They know the re-aggression is coming, but it's on the side of B. Breaking that, it's gonna be a little bit more of information here for all gamers, and they're trying to end towards the safe site, but they kind of have a good setup here, GE. Maybe this is the round that they can win.
Overdrive on in. One player on the lurk here for all gamers, if he's even needed. Patman alone on the site now as the TP's coming in from Harvey on the other side of things. Big 3K for Patman by flanking up through top middle. Catches the Omen off guard, who was looking for an off angle over the spawn smoke. Plant going down. Crystal creeping his way up short. All gamers just trusting the buddy system over towards Elbow. Walking together. There is a neural theft, but Crystal isn't using it. There are bodies over on short that he could have potentially thrown that on top of, but the hat is still well and truly on. Needs to tap the spike here, try to bait out a peek. But he's going to try to go a little bit more aggressive. Jiggled out on Elbow side. All gamers well aware of his position now. He doesn't know they're doubled up just yet. And this feels hopeless. All gamers just playing this so well until they make a critical mistake, and Crystal capitalizes. A 3rd round out of nowhere for GE, just off of heroics from both Patman and Crystal.
That was crazy. I was really concerned when I saw Udo all of a sudden move out of that A-link and stand in the open. He got punished right away. But Patman, holy smokes, that 3K was really insane to watch here. That positioning a little bit suspicious, but Patman able to get 3, goes for that 4th. And of course, this 2K by Crystal. Those are the kind of heroics.
Wait a second, guys.
Again, they were set up somewhat good. They played really aggressive, though, towards that A main. Got punished once again, so they've switched it up this time. And finally, we're going to see some B main aggression right off the bat and leaving that A main alone. Maybe setting up some util to fake that pressure.
C's dodged. In comes the util. All gamers always ready for it. reaction from them is looking pretty good here. Yuditan under pressure. Autumn caught in the corner, just trying to keep himself alive with the curveball, and it's a disengage, but it's an expensive little exchange for GE there that I'm not sure they necessarily got what they bargained for. Yes, they've secured control of B main, and they are repositioning. So if they could try to go for a mid-walk or a mid-crunch later on in the round that works out for them, then maybe that'll be good. But as it stands, they're just spreading the map here and resetting.
Shrimp using that Prowler to clear all of B main. He knows no one's still set up close, so Allgamer is going to slow it down once again because they're waiting for some sort of information. It feels like GE has given it to them every single time the contact plays, but going towards this elbow here on that A site, they're going to be spotted.
Yep, camera from Crystal will confirm that Allgamers are inside of elbow. Patman is on short. That's a nice angle for the Nightfall. The cage giving Allgamers pause for thought as Yuditan has made it up over onto the side. Kira from up on high has a little bit of an off angle. Fangir low on HP. He's already lost his life on the way in. And when will you pull the trigger on the Nightfall as GE here? Allgamers are trying to bait it out. Another kill for Yuditan. In goes the overdrive and the Nightfall. This is looking like...
Until being sent, just delaying for as long as possible. And that's what they're missing when that Cypher is set up towards that B site. That was really well done. The delay, the cage timing after that camera was broken towards elbow, just making them slow down a lot. That's what I like to see from Global Esports. This right here. All that util, they're so low now after this, and Shrimp trying to go for as many as he can. It just doesn't work out. I think now we're seeing GE play just a tiny bit more passive. The disengaged after getting that B main info was really important for them. You said they used a lot of their util, and they did, but they still had that retake plan.
Allgamers simplifying this one. A 1-4 with the Cypher on the lurk. Gonna creep up into a B site that is ripe for the picking. GE, both Harvey and Autumn, playing on spawn side for the retake. Checking for the cam is Fangir. Prowler to clear out all of front site. It's a pretty silent approach here. Harvey, though, Gamers who are looking to try to keep Kira alive. I'm not sure that GE are going to check him on the site, quite honestly. I think GE think that all of Allgamers have been kind of shooed away in towards B main, and that is unfortunately not the case. Kira gets the opener from site, swings out on backside, go decently for GE, but they're still in a little bit of trouble here. Yuditan having some impact, but Allgamers trading out effectively enough here. Should be able to get themselves into a post plant.
Kira getting 2 from that position on site after being deposited is actually kind of criminal. The first, yes, element of surprise, but that second he was scanned and everyone knew where he was, still not able to pick him off. And now that spike plant going down, gets the rocket online, and GRQ just beats Crystal.
Yeah, 6-4 here.
Multi-pin.
It's a nice little approach from Allgamers. It felt like they just got into B pretty much for free. And the thing that I'm really impressed with, I mean, their macro is fantastic. I think the macro has been decent from GE, quite honestly, in a lot of these rounds. But they are so good at exactly what you need to be good at on Sunset. You were kind of talking about the breach meta. Trading utility on this map is everything. All of the reactive utility that's quick, that can be used in these bursts, that can be used to kind of bully map control, respond with the perfect utility. That is exactly what you need to see. In going the rocket, that should be Crystal going down. No Cypher utility. An off angle. Almost good for 3. And now it's just the rest of GE with pistols.
This was actually just a thrifty, too, for GE, using those hero weapons to try to get as many as they can. Kira getting a pick onto Javi, not allowing them to even go for that retake. The Cypher trip is going to delay Autumn from being able to go for a fast flank. Udo also unable to shoot that Roomba, and now 3 players alive for AG. They know where all these players are. As the flash coming in, Shrimp just turns it though. Udo trying to go for 1, playing ring around the rosy, but isn't able to get it.
Yeah, jump scared multiple times that round, Yuditan, unfortunately. And another round for Allgamers. This Sunset pick is turning out not to be what GE bargained for.
Yep. Really nice change of pace here as well for Allgamers. Even though they knew that they could have been on a thrifty, they still took it fast, and I really liked it. A little bit scary, though, towards elbow. You got to make sure you clear your corners there. Almost good for 3. Trying to get them down, and now 7-4 here. Shrimp on the top of that scoreboard. He's one of those players we talked about. His initiator util has been phenomenal, but also his fragging power, insane. He has that Nightfall online, and a mid-default here for both of these teams. Autumn pushed down.
Big mid-walk. It's looking like really good timing here for Autumn. GRQ will go down for free. Curveball onto bottom middle, pushes by away. He's under a lot of pressure. They're dumping everything on him, the kitchen sink included. Autumn's found Fangir in the meantime. And forward with the proud dives in Unitime. This is all the way of GE. Shrimp didn't even use half his util. He's fighting hard for it, but I'm not sure he's ready for the third man. And GE will scrape together a bit at the end of that half. I mean, full credit to all gamers. They were so good at punishing the aggression all half long, but GE finally caught them.
Yeah, that walk down mid, Javi, really good timing. The second that they turned around, holding that mid from a main, all gamers, they just found someone. Omen pushing all the way through, and now going into the second half here. We talked a lot about the defensive macro from GE, but I think also for me, all gamers, they really shined on their defensive side against Heretics. I say that. Pretty sure they didn't get a single defensive side on Lotus, but that's fine.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that map.
Yeah.
We talk about the other two maps where their defense was really good. Yes, exactly.
Look, it was an interesting attacking side for all gamers. Nothing sexy, nothing too exciting, but very effective Valorant.
I find Valorant so sexy. Just all the time.
What team has the sexiest Valorant?
No team.
No team? Not MIBR?
Harbor is the sexiest agent, though.
Okay.
Thoughts?
I mean, I can see why you're in full support of Marta now. That makes a lot of sense. We followed that argument to its logical conclusion, and now we can move on with the broadcast.
And we're going to get fired. That's crazy.
Okay. I mean, every day I wake up and I think, oh, today could be the day. All gamers, they are definitely earning their paycheck here, though. Could have already been through into the progression match in this group, but Heretics were a little bit troublesome for them.
Yeah.
Now here's a game that I think, based on the opening games of these two teams here at EWC, you'd be expecting all gamers to win it, but out of 5-7 still really anyone's game.
Yeah, and I think I'm actually genuinely surprised so far by GE because obviously in their performance by MIBR, they had the 5 rounds total, which they've gotten just in this one half of
That's
this
the
map.
last time, by the way.
That's
We do not say that again.
And I think
I'm going to get in trouble. And
I think they're actually doing really well. Like you said, their macro on that defense was really nice. Their rotates made a lot of sense. It felt like a lot of the small things were just little adaptation, making sure they're not overextending on their aggressive peaks. They changed their defensive setup a couple times. They changed it up, and it worked out for their favor. And of course, back to that re-aggression when they know that AG are least expecting it. But Pistol for the second half now.
yeah, still anyone's game. It's not going to decide the game or anything, but it's always a feel-good moment. Global Esports back onto that attacking side. This is where Harvey, who's had a rough game so far, needs to be worth his weight in gold. Pagit, that's a nice opener onto Crystal. The Cypher, you would like them to activate a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later, rather. Maybe when the site has been taken and you're trying to bait out some of the rotations. Bit of hubris from Crystal that doesn't work out for him.
Playing full retake here. All gamers trying to hold down into side by, trying to get one, but is pushed all the way off. Market is fully open for the taken Kira. He sped up onto site though, taking all of back site. And GE, they're gonna speed up, kind of, as long as the door opens, into a fake towards that mid. They're just holding now.
Yep.
Opening that door to apply pressure.
Just cutting sound. Kira on the off angle though. He's usually pretty good on the raise. One off a additional paint shell. He's done a lot of damage, but hasn't walked away with a frag. Shrimp on spawn site cleared up by Patman, and Fangir, who had to rotate because the door was opened, is now put in a very winnable position. Let's be honest, GE barely clinging to life. Position confirmed by Patman. This is where you try to stall the man out. Haunt, jiggle, jiggle. But Patman very much not interested in taking this stall. They just want to try to time him out. The spike is nice and open. GE set up around it, and the off angle, the peak from Patman at 3K there from last year's Rookie of the Year in Pacific is enough to secure GE yet another pistol.
A really nice mid-round call there to just slow it down, cut noise, open the door, apply that pressure, and force those rotates. They really played with all gamers there, but splitting up just wasn't it for all gamers. The flood into sight, kind of being successful for Kira, but he gets punished because he's alone once again. Of course, pushing into market too. Really nice strat, really nice ability to take that map control before even trying to get that spike down. And it's going to be a buy here from GE, the Thrifty for AG.
All picked up, handed over to Kira. They have been loving his showstoppers, and I can't blame them. The camera taking pictures of a bunch of GE. It's a group photo. Good times in B main. There's not really a whole lot to worry them here.
Contacting up through that smoke. Prowler's going to come out, make sure they don't have anyone bothering them from market. Front sight is secured, though. They're going to be able to get that spike down, but still playing it slow. Crystal has all of flank down. These players from All Gamers just trying to find that isolated player. It's all the way in spawn, though.
They just don't really give away too much. I think All Gamers are playing the purest game so far. Shrimp caught on spawn side. Shorty out in the other side of the spawn, but checked well by Patman. So far, not really too much damage to speak of here by All Gamers, who may isolate Crystal, but with a Marshall in towards spawn side, I don't think he's really going to care too much. Thank you.
Oh my god.
Oh, he was hoping to catch his Russian counterpart off guard there, but not given the opportunity. And as it stands here, GE cleaning up everything that they would have wanted. 7 apiece and a flawless anti-eco. Yet another great start to a half.
Neck and neck. The bonus now for global esports. All Gamers are going to have their bye. Their defensive rounds I've talked about previously from Team Heretics, the way that they played against them, it looked really, really good. And I think I'm interested to see how they play against this team because, again, this is the first time that we've seen this map for All Gamers this year.
Yeah, coming back into the pool, Sunset may kind of decide some of these series that we have here at EWC. It's a classic round, fisticuffs on GRQ. Defending elbow super nicely. Fangir's got him back with the relay ball, just pushing GE away, who throw down their own hot hands. Autumn considering the curveball. In the meantime, though, walking through the top middle smoke, Kira is more than ready for it. And this is not what GE bargained for on their bonus. Harvey also called off by Shrimp. And the last two players on elbow. It's a nice double peak timing. Only one for GE, which earns himself his run it back, but that's not something you're going to be happy with.
They're going to be happy with that one, at least All Gamers is. Still chilling. I think they're really happy with where they are, even though they lost that pistol. 8-7. This just kind of goes to show how close this game is going to be. And I think this is what we expected, too, when we were talking about this earlier, is the fact that it's going to be neck to neck. It's going to be scrappy, a lot of fighting going on. And the aggression from both these teams has been really nice to watch.
It's good money for All Gamers. 4 players with about 2K in the back pocket should things go awry here. GE walking
Hi,
keeping this attacking
Sai
side pretty
Charan.
simple so
Hello.
far. Just been death balling on in. And why wouldn't you when you've got a runner back to lead the way? Straight into the Cypher setup.
Nah.
In front of his utility is not really how All Gamers would have wanted that to go.
Yeah, the Cypher setup just not being good enough. No delay at all. They keep playing retake on this B site, and now they haven't been able to take it back just yet.
Okay.
Trying to get out here, but Autumn holding a really nice pixel angle. Falls just off of it. These players for GE playing a post plant, aggressing all of a sudden into the site is All Gamers. Even though they got hit by that Nightfall, it's going to delay them just a little bit. Unable to just go in and scale.
Picture to
Players taking
देखो.
this market. Udo, he knows no one's there. Everyone's out back site. Javi gets the pick onto Shrimp and GRQ. Trying to find anything. Kira, Patman trades back and forth. GRQ with another. Patman with another. Back and forth once again. And these players, they're chasing after Fangi here, trying to get him to not save this and not die to the spike.
Another round win for GE. Cypher Trip will confirm that he's made it out of dodge, but All Gamers, I think it's good that they've held on to one gun. The rest of the boys will have money to reinvest in that one, but GE keeping things simple has worked out a treat for them. The run it back leads the way into the site, and the post plant was easy as you like. Patman, courtesy of his multi-frag on the pistol there, earns himself a Nightfall early on. You saw them putting spike plants and some orbs into that as well. And I think that ultimate really secured this round after a clean pick onto the Cypher.
Hello.
That round has been really nice here, even after the post plants for GE.
దీంట్లో స్క్రీన్ షేర్ ఆన్ చేసింది
Market, knowing
అవునవును.
spike down without any space, they're prioritizing, pushing,
Flag
being
కదా?
aggressive, making sure they're able
ఆహా
to play a post plant
అట్లేంతే
situation
అంతేం కాదు.
more than just that B main angle. And they've done it
ఇది
again this
GTA లో
round, using the
ఫండ్స్
Nightfall
అన్నీ
to
ఎగిరిపోయినాయి
delay for so
అవునవును
long.
తెలుసు
Now
నిన్ననే
that
చూసిన
fight,
నేను.
because once again they had that market control.
అంటే
If I'm All Gamers here,
ఇప్పుడు
I'm talking
ఎన్ని
about
ఎన్ని
how
ఉన్నాయో
we're
చెప్తే
gonna
యాడ్
fix our
చేస్తారంట
retakes.
నాది 10 lakhs ఉండే
delay as much on site. On
Overall
that
10 lakhs
cipher,
ఉండేనా?
but still
Ah.
taking more than one angle
Okay,
in their
నేను
retakes.
చెప్తా.
Yes, they're trying to trade coming out back site 4
10
players.
lakhs ఇంకా బ్లాక్ మనీ ఉండే బ్లాక్ మనీ అట్లానే ఉంటుందా
But no one's gonna peek into them. GE,
ఆ,
they've been
బ్లాక్
so
మనీ
good
అట్లా
at
ఏమి
not
ఉండదు.
giving that
నీది
up.
ఈ
I mean,
2
I'm
days
seeing
ఎంత
similar
వచ్చినాయి?
problems for both teams, quite
Huh?
honestly, in the fact that I feel
ఈ
like
2
people
days
are
లో
playing
ఉంటున్నా.
off angles a lot.
ఈ
and
2 days లో
focusing
10
on
lakhs
the
ఉండేనా
side.
అదిరా
There's nothing necessarily wrong with that.
అంటే
But in
ఇప్పుడు
general, if you can wait
మొన్న
for the
మనం
big
ఆడినాం
punchy
కదా,
pieces of utility, like a really high
ఆ రోజు
percentage
కంటే
bar
ముందు
all
ఎంత
through
ఉండే?
the side, or you have a really nice
అంతకు
retake.
ముందా
Maybe
నాది
the
ఏరా
utils actually hit. That's when things get
2
a
lakhs
positive
ఉండే
back
అనుకుంటా
into B. B main
2
dominating
lakh
both
1.5
when
lakh
they
ఉండే
retake, the
అనుకుంటా
other team doesn't make it into B main,
అచ్చా,
but maybe you'll
సరే నేను చెప్తా.
have to test the other side of the map. Global Esports working
దాంట్లో
on
వానరా
it
దాంట్లో
right now.
ఆయన వస్తాడు
All
కొద్దిసేపు
gamers,
అయితే
3
అప్పుడు
guns
చెప్పమన్నాడు,
online for them, the
అప్పుడు యాడ్
rifles.
చేస్తారంట.
నాకు అప్పుడు జర వచ్చి చెప్పు నేను జాయిన్ అయిపోతా
He knows
లేకపోతే
that
వానర
సరే.
దాంట్లో
hears
కూర్చోవాలా
it, that camera's gonna spot
దానికే
3
వచ్చేసి
of
లేకపోతే
those players.
ఓకే
నేను
The
దాంట్లోనే ఉంటా.
rotates are coming in.
సరే
This is where they've struggled. The
Hmm.
retakes. They're
వస్తున్నా
playing completely off. There's almost no delay. Kira, he does have the rocket online, but they need to come up with a good plan because GE, they've taken towards spawn. They're trying to push in. They're trying to deny all that space.
Seas comes out. Oh, utils exchanged here. Autumn punished on spawn side. In goes the rocket from Kira. Really looking for anyone on GE, leading the way, zoning the rest of GE away. Horde comes out, confirms His position. Uditan down on Jen, and now it's just Batman and Crystal trying to get it done from elbow side. A lot for Crystal to do here. He's been mechanically very sharp lately. Half is on from Shrimp. He's not going to stick it to completion. It's a up down there from all gamers. Perfection on top of the spike. Take the lead.
They've learned their lesson, holding passive in spawn, knowing that something was going to happen. They were going to take some sort of control. And all gamers punish Autumn for pushing too deep into spawn, overextending, trying to use that curveball to get away with it, but unable to. And a beautiful use of util. The haunt timing too, coming in with that rocket to be able to scan that player top site, allow Kira to get that pick. Really nicely done, and just the timing on the spacing here as well, the pathing, everything looking really good for all gamers.
Yeah, really segmenting GE and making them uncomfortable with the rocket was very, very nice. Now they have put GE in much the same kind of position, only the singular rifle being afforded courtesy of some multi-fragging in from Crystal. All gamers really looking to secure control of their economy if they can. A couple of players with some extra cash. Outlaws there for Fanggear. Crystal's found Kira. It's a nice pick from the Cypher, who has overextended in 1 or 2 of these rounds. Spike dropped in B main. That's going to be hard for GE, and the Outlaw is really kind of getting some carnage done here. Autumn with the Bandit, doing a lot of work, quite honestly. Pushing things into a 2-on-2. This is still winnable. Shrimps over on spawn side. Crystal going to join Autumn. He's going to curveball in combination there with the Neural Theft. Caught by the Seas is Autumn. He's under a lot of pressure here. Spike going down from Crystal in the back lines. Autumn trying to bark as loud as he can. He's one off a run it back. That's his last curveball. There's the Prowler for AG. Very tentative. Trying to clear out Autumn in this close corner. Crystal trying to play off of the back of Autumn's contact here. Missing his shot. That's the last Prowler out from Shrimp. GRQ going down here. Little bit of damage now as we head into a one-on-one. Shrimp very much ready for the peak. And unfortunately, the backwards crab walk is not as effective when you're playing against a Shrimp. He's all over the crustacean movements.
That's crazy, Shrimp. One of the players we talked about in the pre-show because he's been so phenomenal, especially in those clutches, especially with his util. He's just constantly been top fragging as well, able to trade. And I think they're Autumn for as long as possible. Fanggear getting 3 as well. All gamers, they're still not going to be happy though, I think, with this round. The fact that it got so close, they had those pistols online as well. It's just a struggle there. Bai just getting caught off guard once again with his Cypher. He's just standing out in the open, trying to get some sort of peek, and is just punished. Fanggear getting the 3 though, being one of the main reasons why they won this round. Global Esports though running it down towards A this time, going fast, changing up the pace. The util's all out and this site's free.
GRQ on the off angle. Not ready for Autumn underneath him. Takes a ton of damage there. Nice double inside a middle. That's a man advantage now for GE as Patman gets this spike down.
Crystal's been getting so many picks towards this mid, getting picks on the rotators every single time now. At least 3 rounds he's done that and punished them. The post time coming in. A lot of util chasing after that player in spawn, but unable to connect. 3v4, 2 players coming in from a link. The Nightfall goes down. Shrimp punishes Javi and Elbow. Patman getting the pick onto GRQ as well. The op goes down. Fangir unable to get anything, and Shrimp down on site.
It's a really nice reset for GE. That's the round that they were looking for. They will be a little bit disappointed that they didn't get the round previous, but they know how much damage they did. They marched into that next gun round, knowing that the reset was definitely theirs for the taking. Still trailing by 1 round, but should be able to get through an anti-eco here. And this has just been super back and forth. Both of these teams fighting really hard for the first map of the series.
I find it kind of
Nah.
crazy that all gamers keep falling into this trap that Crystal set up towards mid, where he's just lurking, catching those rotators off guard. Every single time he manages to get a pick, and it just makes that retake 10 times harder. They keep trying to play this retake as well, just not working out for them when they're not all there. The util as well, they're heavily reliant on Shrimp. If he falls, it's kind of rough, but a thrifty here for all gamers. Shotgun and a stinger on the board, trying to get for one, play for one, peeking towards mid. Crystal's gonna shut down Shrimp.
That's literally the exact same angle that he picked Kiro on last round. Or maybe 2 rounds ago. Outlaw looking pretty good in this round. All gamers with a lot of light armors. Little bait set up for Fangir here. GRQ trying to be the best salesman possible, but the blaze wall goes up. GE are not interested. They're going to be heading to the other store, straight into the A site. And they know that Elbow is dirty here. That is at least going to be cause for concern. The cage to follow up, but they're going to clear it from the other side. Paranoia is not going to be good enough to hit Yutatan there. The Bucky is getting to work, but we all know about the nerfs. It's not going to be a follow-up kill onto Autumn.
Kira here. That's going to be heard, and he touches the turret. Nothing really going to come out of that one. Crystal getting the pick, and Patman shutting it down. All gamers here. Feels like this next round is super important for them, trying to get ahead. But for GE, it feels like they're very comfortable. They're able to get that mid-control with Crystal, like we said. They're able to just be able to execute as well, and it feels like they're just baiting a lot of those rotates. They're playing with it in the mid-round. Their post-spawns have been really good as well. A tiny bit readable, the fact that they're going to aggress, but you always don't know which side they're going to do it, and they've used a lot of really good util as well.
GE, I think, putting themselves a little bit out in front, but AG, having taken attack timeout, want to make some adjustments on this defensive side. Still anyone's game for the taking here. Elimination on the line, and Sunset, you know, coming out of left field here in the veto.
Yeah.
GE always like to be tricky and difficult to prepare for in every single veto. I remember speaking to somebody about this last night, and they said, that's easier for me to prepare for because you just don't. You just focus on what your team is doing, and then you just figure it out on the fly. There's no point preparing for a team that just changes their comp every single time.
That's very valid. Jumping in, though. 10-10 here. Well-needed timeout for all gamers. Rifles, full gun buy for both sides. Fangir has the op, though. This operator might be key in them for being able to get those lines on the defensive side and understand how to rotate off of them. 2 of these players, though, pushing towards that B main, trying to do some sort of seize nade combo if they see anyone. It's not going to catch because all 5 players of GE are towards this mid.
Money is fantastic here for GE. If they can reset all gamers yet again, then this should be their game on a silver platter, straight towards the middle of the map. They've read this so well. But can they deal with the 3-stack over towards A here for all gamers? Do have Bite, tucks himself into Generator. Nice and snug. Slid on in is Yutatan. That's a nice entry, peeking off the back of that contact. GRQ only going 1-for-1, but Fangir is the player that they haven't checked in Elbow, and he's causing some problems.
Trying to find another shot. Crystal, he is flanking, though. 2 of these players, Kira and Shrimp, they're walking up towards this A main. They might catch him off guard. Crystal gets punished, and now the side has been flipped. 3 of these players trying to retake from that A main. Elbow is being taken. The off is holding it down. Kira's going to walk up with Fangir. The paranoia goes in. The shot misses. The nightfall is out. Javi, that dark cover to delay. These players are going to have to run through it. The time just isn't that there. Bangir, Autumn, Shrimp.
Man.
Onto Autumn, and they actually win that retake.
Yeah, that's rough. I felt like Harvey, you know, he was doing well to drop the paranoia and the dark cover on a really nice timing, but he needed at least one there to give Autumn a bit of a hand. All gamers, that's a nice retake there, but with only 2 players surviving, this is still very much hanging in the balance. GE haven't gotten themselves the spike plant there, and with plenty of cash in the bank, still have this reset potential, but that'll only last so long.
I think now, too, GE, they know that operator is online for Fangir. They're going to be able to understand that he's going to set it up somewhere, try to get some sort of peek. I'm wondering if they're going to change their approach, try to find where that op is and just go the other way, or at least push him off. And maybe they might be a little bit more scared to set Crystal up towards mid. But instead, contact play towards the same aim.
Patman's ate the boom bot there as the slide in from Yudutan yet again is quite fruitful for GE. Hawk up over the top, catches 2 players. What a paranoia from Harvey. GE absolutely roll this A site, and finally it seems like they're breaking through.
Dude, the confidence to just execute, hold W into his sight, knowing that there could be an operator there. They blocked off that elbow with the neon wall and just took that full A-link side. Like you said, beautiful paranoia from Javi. They played that so well. GE trying to punish that operator if they were set up on either of those sides. Of course, Udo with a beautiful 3K there to shut it down. All gamers, though, they're going to try to hold on to this op. They're trying to hold on to this rifle as well. Bai sitting in spawn is going to catch Autumn. Not able to finish him off, though. 30 HP on him. Fangir trading spaces. The bait and switch, but this time with the op. They're going to see that there. Nothing too crazy, but Crystal, he's going towards B main to try to catch them off guard.
Autumn still hanging around. And you're right, but at the same time, GE's money is a little bit battered from the last round. They don't feel the need to push the issue. They just want to make sure they can min-max all the gun rounds towards the end of this half. Still 2 left in play. Whichever way you swing this, could definitely have an OT on our hands. A decent enough save on in there for all gamers. It's going to be a scrappy buy, let's be honest, but at least 1 rifle, an operator, and a showstopper is decent enough to work with. The only player who really kind of is left wanting is definitely GRQ, but an Omen with the judge can get work done at the best of times, especially on elbow.
Fangir opting towards mid, trying to shut down that one lurker that they found the whole time. He's actually going to get spotted by the cam, and that's really good information here for Global Esports. Please, take the dart out.
That's classic. And not just the pistol. Autumn applying some pressure towards the middle of the map. With Harvey's dark cover, Blazewall to follow up. You know, Autumn is really just trying to apply pressure and make some noise, and he's sensing that he has a bit of a timing here. I think you can see from Bai's movements that he might be aware of that. He's going looking in towards spawn side, as is Kira, and unfortunately, Autumn will give up his life to the one player that can reveal where the rest of Global Esports are coming from. Overdrive pulled out by Yudutan. GRQ tucking himself in towards Jen is going to be very difficult to dig out. Patman has broken through onto Fangir. The operator is down. Shrimp's found Yudutan, but this is the player you've got to be concerned with. In the meantime, Kira has ripped the showstopper onto short side, and this is not going well for GE at all. Just down to Crystal in a 1-on-4. Has a neural theft of his own, but AG are taking no chances.
Definitely going to save that for this last round. The high-low. Crystal's going to be able to get one. Gets shut down but Bai. And Bai, really good information, really good timing, actually, to just turn around and catch Autumn off guard. You could see the pings on the minimap there. They're trying to tell each other, hey, this is open. Please don't get caught off guard. And that actually worked out for them.
Yeah, good communication from all gamers.
Yep.
Got to stay on top of that kind of thing. That's the difference between a tier 1 team and the rest. Stuff from all gamers. Definitely a losable round for them, and if they do lose that round, they're going to be broken. That's probably going to be the end of the game. So GE now back onto what looks like another pretty good gun round. Nightfall in tow. Need to try to even this one up and push us through to overtime.
Walking up towards mid here. They've had so much success, Global Esports, so they're banking on it once again. The trip there gonna get destroyed, and they're pushing through market, but GRQ using that paranoia to delay these 3
Gloves on the way.
on the side of all gamers. They've
Hello.
backing all the way back on. They've struggled to hold this site before
ఒక్క నిమిషం నేను నందితాని వేరే దాని ట్రై లైవ్ వినిపిస్తాను
about to be overtime. Shrimp, unless he can do something, gets a pick. Him and Kira trying to work this. Kira on the fast flank, but that Neural Theft's gonna let them know where he is. Crystal getting the pick onto Kira and Shrimp. 1v3, nothing left in his belt. No util. Just him and the rifle against the world.
Yeah. Very difficult position. Shrimp tried to crack back in onto that one. Finding himself a pick, but GE, even after this smoke elapses, there's not much being shown to Shrimp here. He'll make first contact with Autumn, but it's a nice peek from Harvey. That's overtime. Global Esports able to hold their nerve despite a little bit of a shambolic round on the A side of the map just previously.
These teams neck and neck. Seems like that last round was so one-sided, and this round comes around, and again, it's flipped the other side. It's just whichever team is able to adapt a lot quicker or understand and get those. And of course, dying on this retake was really rough. Beautiful shot from Patman, though, to shut him down. And then again, they don't have any need to fight super aggressively. The split worked out for them. They had all of market. They just played those post plants beautifully. The peaks, the timings, the trades. This is a GE that looks completely different from the last time we saw them. And now they're back on that defensive side.
Yeah, it's a much better matchup for them. You know, the Pacific and the VCTCN teams very much familiar with each other, often practice together. Autumn has played over in VCTCN for quite a long time, so we'll know exactly what they're dealing with here. Push from Autumn. Yuditan in tow as well.
Oh.
That is phenomenal.
What the
Instant neural theft off the back of that. He has just won this round outright.
He's been kind of quiet all game, struggling on the defense side whenever he's on that weak side, or unable to just hold his own. And now all of a sudden using that power. Patman walks out into the smoke. Nobody knows he's out, but Bai getting a fourth. Could he get the ace in one of the most important rounds in this matchup? The ace for Bai. I can't believe it. When it matters, he comes back online.
That is rough for GE. Bai really throwing down the gauntlet here in overtime. They thought that they were going to be able to try to go for a pick inside of B main here, but that is perfect. Bai is just sitting in the pocket, waiting for them to go on the front foot. As soon as the curveball and the relay bolt come out from the Neon, it's a perfectly timed peak.
GE, though, falling back into that trap where they overextend a little bit too much. Pushing towards that B main, they get spotted. Instead of falling back right away and repositioning and forcing all gamers to use their util to re-clear, or at least use their bodies, they just stay. They stay there for way too long. Yes, they could have traded. Yes, Bai. He had a life round right there. But in that first half, we saw it so often where they overextended, they overstayed their welcome.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just one of those things, you know. You can sit back and try to play for some of these retakes, especially with Cypher as your sentinel, and if you have kind of these well-drilled plans, and it can go well for you. But I understand why GE stay on the front foot, and I feel like today a lot of the timings are just not really working for them, unfortunately. AG are a little bit more switched on. They're often getting the better end of these trades. And this is AG's chance to finally close out Sunset here. 4 players ready. As this elbow pressure is coming in from GE. Up goes the fast lane. They're very much kind of trying to feel this one out. Immediate season response there from Strip. And out goes Fangir. GE under pressure now. The Boombot and the Prowler making Autumn uncomfortable. And Harvey only comes up with 1. That's not going to be good enough. And AG on the verge of closing out their opponent's map pick. Crystal in a 1-on-4, peeking into yet another high-low, and that's going to be VCTCN getting themselves that first map win. Pacific just continues to struggle here.
All gamers winning GE's map pick. They hit this map so far in this tournament, haven't played it yet, and now all of a sudden showing that they could do such a good job. Of course, that last round, the gamble towards that A site, obviously getting rewarded. 4 players there. And now you're looking at Global Esports to come back because that next map is split.
Global Esports winning the pistol rounds, going to OT, and then getting buyed on. And Ace sending them back on. I mean, I don't know what you do, how you recompose after going into OT and having someone hand out all 5 kills.
We got the Shrimp. Honestly, Bai needs to stand up after an ace like that and just wave goodbye to the other team. Because that's literally what he did to them.
He was doing such a good job. His paranoias were there. His dark coverage
Wasn't
was
it
there.
just 13 assists though?
Yeah,
I'm
but
looking
still.
at the
No,
numbers.
no,
I'm like, your
listen.
KDA ain't
But
that
it's
good,
the,
bro.
It's the
I mean,
impact,
Maybe
it's
the numbers are too
impact
simple.
I'm with Puckett on this one.
I don't think I saw
way.
enough.
That's not gonna
the
cut it.
C's do
paranoia.
not
Bruh.
degrees here at EWC.
I have watched Harvey in Tier 2 and up into Pacific for much a time now, and I can tell you he is a fantastic player, but that is a classic brain drain game. You know, where it's a pressure game, you're the IGL of global esports. He's trying to do what he always does. You saw him right from the start of the game, trying to be super confident. He was walking down mid on the Omen on defense, but unfortunately, mechanically, he wasn't able to go toe-to-toe with all gamers, and that's what happens to Harvey sometimes. He's had some kind of underwhelming performances as an individual, and it happens to a lot of IGLs. It's nothing to do with his ability, it's nothing to do with where his ceiling lies, it's just to do with the pressure of playing on a stage like this and having a lot on your plate as an IGL.
I will say, though, to my point, I think he did get a lot of the timings right in terms of his util.
Yeah.
I do think also that one push towards mid, he got that timing right when he knew they were in a main, and he was able to get that free pick. So a lot of little impact frags.
Yeah.
Yes, they were very little frags, but they were all impactful, it feels like. And again, I think he's done such a great job. I really was impressed by GE all game with those micro adjustments, making sure they're getting a lot of those timings, just the overextension for me. Staying a little bit too long in those positions and getting punished.
It isn't all on one player, but Javi, I'm still putting you under the microscope. Athena's going to give you a pass. Let's talk about the others, though, that we need to highlight. Who are the superstars for AGAL? Who do you think is in a running for MVP of Day 4 so far?
Whoever came up with that game plan, honestly, and whoever's calling for them. I'm not intimately familiar with their team personally. You know, VCTC and Pacific are on at the same time, and I'm definitely choosing one of those rather than the other to watch. Sorry, guys.
That's messed up.
But honestly, I was impressed by all gamers.
Yeah.
I felt like I've boot camped in China before and played some of these Chinese franchise teams, and at times, I gotta be honest, and this was years ago, to be fair, okay? The region has come a long way. I've thought, like, what are these guys doing? But AG's macro there was fantastic. Like, I really can't fault that. I felt like they were playing phenomenally.
I think for me, I was really looking at Fangir. I feel like his operator timings were really good. He did struggle a couple of times, but he was still able to punish when GE were trying to be overextending, like that round on elbow when he was opping towards that A main. He gets spotted, but still gets that peak, even though he gets dinked. So I think for me, Fangir was a player to watch in this game. I think also on the other side, Patman. That 3K on site.
Yeah.
Goes crazy.
Frost still undefeated here at EWC. We go to break. When we come back, it is game number 4 for Global Esports. Can they survive another one here at EWC? We'll find out.
हेलो सेंटी भाई
Put down your baguettes and brie and get ready for game number 2, hoping for game 3. Global Esports just went to overtime but fell short. We have a very sad Pilski who is watching the Pacific get bodied. Pilski, we need to see a little bit of resurgence right now. We saw the players coming out, smiles on their faces on the stage. They look unfazed despite a very narrow loss at the end of the last game.
I thought it was a winnable game. I thought that they played quite decently. And as I said before, I don't think that they're going to be upset that Split has made it in the veto. They have played a lot of this map. They know their way around it well. So I'm sure they know that all gamers are great at it as well, but they're not going to feel like this is an unwinnable series.
Athena, you were saying, though, AGAL picked Split for a reason. You've seen this team go here in the past. Why are they strong in this map?
I mean, they're just so good. I feel like their defensive side, the aggression that they use, especially with Kira, has been really good. I feel like they fall back on time. Their setups in the mid rounds are really good. I feel like we saw a little bit of that on that Sunset as well, just making sure they're gambling a lot of the right sides. And as well, on their attack, they've been absolutely phenomenal. And I think this team just in general, when you can take Heretics on in this map and win, it really speaks a lot.
I feel like we've seen nothing but Ascent, Lotus, and Breeze on this stage until this series.
Yeah.
Why is Split not in everyone else's, I guess, top 3 of choices?
Yeah, it's a bit weird. You see a lot of it in Pacific. I'm honestly sick to death of seeing Split, but I guess maybe some of the other regions outside of Asia are a little bit scared of playing it. It's, some tight corners.
We
and
see it a
like
bit
that.
in America.
The judges might make you a little bit upset. If you're soft, you might not play something like that. But over in Pacific, we're playing that all the time.
You guys love your shotguns.
Yeah, we do. I was looking at that game, by the way, Puckett. That was also an OT. We had an OT on both of the stages, and Heretics won on the A stream. That was a gigabanger.
Reminder, we are also continuing group stages on Tuesday, as we'll have our final deciders moving forward. Today, we're sending 2 more teams into our playoff bracket. 2 more teams will be sent packing, joining our 2 squads that went out yesterday. The big surprise of the tournament, Paper Rex out already after multiple second places and always looking to be in contention for a grand final. They were eliminated by Carmine Corps. We could see up to 3 French squads represented, or 3 French orgs here in Paris. And if you just watched recent events, Athena, this place is going to be taken over by fans.
Oh, yeah. First of all, the arena is insane. I've seen the stage being set up with all the seats for the crowds. If that fills up, the sound in here is going to be insane, especially if those French teams take the stage. The cheers are going to evaporate into this huge arena, and it's going to be kind of wild. And I think as well, too, I'm really excited to see the baguettes coming in.
Yes, all the baguettes.
You're a big fan.
I love
Yeah.
baguettes.
I've seen you eat many.
He brings them in every morning.
Yeah.
If you don't have a fresh baguette, you're doing it wrong. Like, if you're eating yesterday's baguette, you're really doing it wrong. Let's talk a little bit about our teams, as we still have a bit of a delay on this stage. If we can get a camera on a few of the players, I'd like to highlight the potential stars. Who here from AGAL is breaking out from the Chinese region to really showcase their skill at a global level? Because like you said, they're playing at the same time as Pacific. A lot of people may be tuning into one stream or not the other. This is their time to meet these guys.
Yeah, I think for me, AG, it's not like a story of one player. I think they play quite a good, well-rounded game, and they have a lot of different people that they can lean on. Maybe that leads you in a direction where you get some inconsistencies from some of the individuals and you might not get the results that you want. But I think multiple players could step up. They do like to swap around the duelist role a lot. I love what I see from Fangir, especially at the start of the year. I felt like he was kind of carrying this team a little bit, but as we've gone deeper into the year and AG have continued to put together pretty respectable results, but domestically and internationally, quite honestly, I think that this team is extremely well-rounded and everyone can pull their weight.
Yeah.
Athena, what did you like in-game from this squad? Who has a strong role on this team?
I mean, for me, it's got to be Shrimp every single time. I feel like when I see him using his initiator util, it's been phenomenal. He also puts up the frags behind it. And I think for Shrimp, too, he's actually not IGLing regardless of being the initiator. It's actually Kira, which is their duelist. So it's insane that Kira is also able to IGL and play duelist. That's actually one of the hardest combinations to do when it comes to Valorant, because you're constantly trying to call for everyone to set you up, and you're also engaging in the fire, engaging in the fight in the middle of it, and you're also trying to make calls for the rest of your team. It makes sense why all gamers are super aggressive in this server, though, because Akira tends to do a really good job at taking a lot of that space.
Pilski, do you like the idea of the tip of your spear also being the shot caller?
In other games, yes. Like, I think traditionally in TAC FPS, you see plenty of good examples of it, especially if, you know, you have someone who's weaker individually. A lot of the time, they will go ahead and maybe get in on the entry. And if they die, they make space for someone, they set themselves up, and then they can see everybody in the post plant because they're already dead. I mean, in CS, there's plenty of examples of that. In Valorant, duelists are meant to get kills. They have abilities to get kills, so I'm not really as much of a fan of it, actually. But if it works for all gamers, then it works.
Kira on that raise is going to be my player to watch. Fengir's going to go over to the Jet. On the other side, we have a Jet in the hands of Autumn, and Udutan is going to be rocking the raise. Whose comp are we liking more? Is the difference is really just the sky,
Reese,
right?
Viper,
I think
Viper.
here, I like to see the
Jet,
Fade
Jet.
a lot more. Patman on the sky, on the Fade, sorry, he's been really good. But I do want to talk about Shrimp on the Sky because actually something fun that they like to do on this map is they do tend to do a lot of 4-1s on their attack side. And they actually leave Shrimp to be that one. They leave that initiator alone, the Sky, getting all that information, putting pressure with the dog, with those flashes. And a lot of the time, he also has these really good catches on the rotators as well. So for me, I'm still looking at the Fade. I think just as a character, a lot stronger. No flashes, though, on the side of GE.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it can work to have your Sky on the lurk and apply pressure, but if the other team is prepared for you, then it's something that can really backfire. You can be very readable if you base your entire attacking side around Initiator Util. I like the Sky, though, better, honestly, in this comp with the raised Jet. I think there's plenty of examples, particularly in Pacific, where the burstiness you have of a Guiding Light rather than a Prowler that takes about 10 business days to get into the site is actually, you know, a little bit better in a lot of examples, but only if you're fast enough to play around it well.
Taking a look at our rosters, this could be the final game for Global Esports. On the other side, AGAL is looking for a rematch against Heretics potentially, or a new fight against MIBR. This will also be an additional $25,000 if you win this game for AGAL, as they'll be guaranteed at least 9 through 12. A big game for both of these squads, and we are just moments away from jumping in. Pilski, if you are just tuning in to Valorant for the first time, you've been working all weekend. What did they miss, and what are you about to see?
You miss Global Esports maybe not having the best start to their group, kind of getting battered around a bit by an MIBR that are actually playing over in the A stream and have lost their first map here at EWC. For AG, I think it's quite the opposite. They had a game that was well and truly winnable for them, and now they're looking for recovery here, and they've already picked up the first map. So let's see if they can try to capitalize on that and win this series on one of their most comfortable maps here.
And now jumping into their comfortable map, just like you said, AG, they're starting on that attack side. They've been really good and making sure they're setting themselves up for success. Lots of 4-1s when they do get to those gun rounds. But for this pistol, they're starting with some sort of mid-default, that dark cover going in, the flash, the paranoia coming back out. Baiting that out from the Omen is insane, but you've spent those nades to get that.
Good stuff. AG baiting out a little bit of the mid-trap there. Now GE will have to reset a little bit as this round drags on. AG, very similar to what we saw on Sunset. It is a very slow attacking side here. Trailblazer goes into the A site, once again, causing a little bit of pressure. Fangir gets caught there by the C's, but Autumn, this is an excellent timing indeed. Two players not even looking at him. Spike dropped, and he's not going to need to hang around for too much longer. All gamers now throwing caution to the wind. Kira straight through the middle of the map, picks up Udutan, and they're looking to pick up the pace into the B site. They're very well aware that Autumn is still inside a B main, and that's something that they're going to kind of deal with later. Kick that can down the road, so to speak. Good timing for Patman to give GE the man advantage, and this is looking a little too messy here for an all-gamers who, for the second time, have got caught off. Harvey from Sewers does get an additional peek. Autumn finally cleaned up, though. Fangir could be the difference maker here.
2v2, the players are trying to keep that site. They know there's a player in heaven, though, constantly spotting for it. I say that, but they didn't actually see him. Patman now has that haunt. It goes online. These players probably trying to play this crossfire. They have to force themselves out here. Patman and Crystal trying to scale.
Last player
Splitting up, but it actually goes well. Crystal getting the pick on Kira. Fangir with 3, but Crystal cleaning that up.
Yeah, all gamers still keeping it very, very close, though. That is the third pistol this series for GE. It's not something they've been having trouble winning. But getting the map wins, on the other hand, so far, not so easy to come by.
Pistols have been good. I think the proactivity so good. Again, we've seen Autumn be aggressive. Last map on the Phoenix, and now here with the Jet, he's taken so many really well-timed positions. And for all gamers, I'm questioning, they just need to be a little bit more aware of the gaps in their attack. But now, 4 players towards this B main. Fast take, trying to get that pressure down. Javi, he's alone on this site, but Patman from Heaven trying to help Fangir the peek onto Javi. And now Udo somehow getting by on the other side of the map. Fangir getting the trade onto Patman. 3v3 here. 4v3, sorry. Kira set up for this post plant.
Nice open plant there. Trailblazer into spawn side. All gamers will follow it on in. Crystal under some pressure. Drops the snake bite to push all gamers away. Vulnerable is GRQ, and Crystal's taken some damage, but been able to clean that one up. Autumn, 1 bullet left in the Outlaw here. It's a tentative 3-on-3. You do not want to get eco as GE. And it's looking more and more likely as we go deeper into this round. Autumn caught off guard as well. And Fangir, a cracker of a double entry to swing on from Shrimp, gives all gamers the eco win. That is crushing for GE.
Fangir with a beautiful entry, just holding W and getting across into sight, punishing Javi for having a weird position. I mean, he put that dark cover down after that paranoia towards B main, but still was unable to hold. He just stood out backside, switching from his util to his weapon, and got caught off guard. The timing here, you see that? So hard to deal with.
I mean, they just weren't ready for someone to be that confident.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're expecting people to take the normal timings, and Old Mate is very much licking the snap and sending it. And this game indeed has gone completely postal for GE. Fangir now as the Outlaw active. He's got some help here. GE applying some pressure. Autumn, yeah, a little over-enthusiastic, a little excitable, but quickly quietened by an AG, who are yet again playing a pretty slow one on this anti-eco attacking side.
I guess you could say Autumn has now fallen. Get it?
Yeah,
Fall,
he's
Autumn.
leaving the server, some would say. Shrimp, he is, look, on that spray, looking like a shell of his former self, you might say. Kira's also caught one. I don't want to have anything for him. And it's looking pretty good for all gamers, quite honestly. Walking straight into an open A site. Shrimp has only lost his armor, and that's pretty much all the damage that's been done by GE here.
Yeah, just playing it slow, knowing that GE's going to do something maybe a little bit desperate.
Shadows traveling.
Shutting that down. But again, man, that second round was insane from all gamers. I really like the speed up, the change of pacing. Those are the kinds of rounds that I really like to see.
Well, that's the thing about all gamers, is just like, at least at the start of the year, they run through VCTCN.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Kira's sending it, as most people are. Was dominated by Fangir in some of the games. Like, he's the memorable player for me. Speaking of which, that's one to forget. A little bit of damage being done here by Harvey, who's being a nuisance on spawn side. All gamer no longer really interested in trying to hunt him down, although Shrimp wouldn't mind an extra one towards the Seekers. I don't think that's going to be happening. But yeah, I've been really surprised with how well-rounded all gamers are, to be honest, because I only really remember, you know, watching a few of all gamers games, quite honestly, and they were big games from Fangir, and I was thinking, yeah, this is just yet another import coming into VCTCN and hard carrying one of the teams. But it's quite the opposite, you know, watching them play here. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing. Yes, Fangir is unreal, and that second round is a perfect example of why, but they've got plenty of substance to back that up.
Yeah, I think they've done such a good job as well at adapting, making sure they're fixing a lot of their issues, fixing the fundamental mistakes that they did make when they were playing in that stage 1 in VCT. But now a super quick round here, that rocket online. Kira and Fangir pushing all the way into B Heaven, trying to find one. Beautiful paranoia behind, but, oh my god, I can't speak by Javi, but he gets punished with the rocket.
Autumn under pressure now in the back of the site. Kira has found Crystal in the meantime. Uditon fighting hard from Heaven's side, hand in hand with Patman. It's a 2-on-3 here. Spike has been dropped. Bai is up close in a pretty cheeky position, ready to swing out off the contact. GRQ in with the backstab, and that's what I was talking about. Perfect timing from Bai as soon as Patman makes contact with his teammate, and that is a round for all gamers.
God, I really like this speed up, the change of pacing, and they've kept GE on their toes now. They have no idea how they're going to play this next round. And it's so nice to see. I really like this duo too, the duelist duo of Kira and Fangir. They're so good at keeping up the space together. The util there as well to follow up.
That showstopper is perfection. I mean, it just shows how confident your Raze player is, because yes, okay, you're shooting where the paranoia is coming from, but it's a multi-layered thing. Not only does he shoot his showstopper, but he also saves his own life because the momentum of the ult puts him into a safer position until the paranoia elapses. So it's kind of just a win-win. And that's kind of the difference between just playing Raze and looking like a bit of an idiot fumbling your satchels and really being one of the better Raze players in the world.
Thrifty here on the side of Global Esports. They have that rocket online, but not really using two expenders. Instead, a triple setup towards this B main. The paranoia is going to come in, but a little bit too late because Fangir, he's already made his way completely out of danger. These four players now leaving one.
Yeah. Leave the Outlaw over on the extremity. Continue to apply pressure and keep GE honest. They're just going to throw out a dark cover, and they've put a band-aid over there, a little bit of tape, and they've said, don't worry about B. That's totally fine. AG also not worried about B. Straight into the A site yet again here. This is looking like a bit of a trend in the mid-round against the anti-ecos. I'd love a late-round stack from GE, maybe later on in the half if they end up on another one.
Set up for a nice post plant here. They're aware that heaven is open. Fangir, he's going to hear all that noise actually from spawn. But the crossfire here. So much util being used. They're re-clearing this A main. Fangir's playing far back, but not far enough. He gets picked off right away. That's just an outlaw, though. Four players still set up really nicely on site. They don't really have an exit strategy just yet. Kira able to get the pick off on Udotan. Another pick from GRQ. They're just playing their exits now on the side of GE.
That's the Outlaw from Harvey. Bandit not as effective, and AG exiting the site here. Over towards Heaven's side. Get the peek out here. Shrimp does go down. He already has his ultimate, and actually Kira is the player you would want picking up that pick because he needs to build himself up another showstopper.
Yeah, 2 so early on in this half would be insane. I think he's like 3 away. But now, 2 weapons saved for the side of All Gamers. They did drop 3, a little bit expensive, but they're going to be fine. They're going to be able to buy that next round. And an all gun round here online for this next round. The last time All Gamers, they just sent it, full sent it. They had so much stuff to go with it, the util, the ults, but they have to deal with this operator. Both sides, Autumn picking towards B main. Getting flashed off the line. Javi is deposited, though. He's going to get the pick onto Kira, TPing out. That's a really nice numbers game here for Global Esports.
That's a little bit more like it from Harvey. He can be an impactful player even after a quiet first map. It's Global Esports the player advantage here. Swing out from Patman in the 5-on-4 is probably not what you would be looking for, but he is always looking to be confident and try to take over the game, advantage or not. There's the pick from Fangir.
Wow.
Despite the great start for Global Esports, in the mid-round, they are being punished for pushing the issue a little bit too much.
Overextending. Patman there pushing through. You can't blame Crystal. Just holding an angle, being unaware that the op is about to peek him. And the Seekers going out. That's going to be a lot of information. They know that there's a player towards this site. Only one of them went towards the A site, and they're collapsing here. The ult, the Omen ult to go on site. The rocket coming in. Udo punishes. Bye. Gets that trade. Javi left in elbow, using the paranoia, trying to scramble, trying to get one. Fangir opping. He's blind, but GRQ with the trade. 2v1 on him with an op.
Over on Heaven's side. Mistake there from Bai. That's a freebie, but position confirmed now. This is not an easy 1v1 for the operator. GRQ inside of the dark cover. Creeping around the side. This is patience from Autumn. Scoped in now, but GRQ is a little quicker. And that is a round GE very much needed. It started well for them, but denied by All Gamers, who move up 5-1.
That was such a nice round. So close from both sides, too. Global Esports, though, once again falling into this punishment on their defensive side where they give All Gamers the numbers. Constantly peeking. This first kill was really nice. Javi getting that pick, falling back. They had the numbers. Everything made a lot of sense for them. But then just giving it up, and All Gamers really well done, too, to speed up. Make sure they're using those picks. The knives actually popped, though, for Autumn towards mid.
Nice pick on Department. Going down early in the piece yet again here. He's maybe spent too much time with Paper X, and if this keeps going the same direction, he's going to be spending some more time with them. Autumn, That's a nice double up. Could be the difference maker here. Instant reply from Fangir. Paranoia pushes them away from the spike, but GRQ will get his hands on it nonetheless. Just waiting in the corner is Yudatan. Doesn't seem like all gamers are cognizant of the fact that he is in that corner, but can Bai spot him out here? It's a little bit of an awkward situation. Yudo, how is your trigger discipline here, my friend? It's looking pretty good to me. And finally, GE in a winning position now. Spike dropped in the middle of the map. Fangir very low on HP, peppered up by Harvey. And I'm sure all gamers, with the op thrown away, should have no business winning this round. Fangir's been magical so far. Got his hands on a Sheriff. 30 seconds on the clock. This would be an outrageous round for GE to let slip through their fingers. Orbs up. There's just no way in hell.
Yeah, they're split up, though. Kind of scary. Crystal playing that close angle. Fangir is going to hear that snake bite coming in from close. Falling a bit back now. Playing it a little bit safer as the time runs out. Fangir probably could have saved that operator. But it doesn't matter. As long as it doesn't get into the hands of GE, they're still able to buy that next round. Spots Crystal, unable to get it. And a thrifty from GE. Autumn, lovely with the knives.
Yeah, really nice stuff. Bit of a mid-walk, GE taking a risk. And despite Patman going down to the operator, which continues to give GE some problems, they find themselves cheeky little position on Yudatan here to be a bit of a difference maker. We'll get a timeout now. All things to be discussed a little bit more.
Timeout actually coming in from the side of all gamers. After that round, they're going to be really irritated, wondering what went wrong, but obviously just not clearing those close angles after getting initially those picks. Autumn obviously pushing all the way down. That confidence. It's nice to see GE still having it. Yes, it was a thrifty. Yes, they usually like to go for something somewhat aggressive, but still the confidence is there to bring it back into this map. And I think that's really nice to see when you're low.
Oh, well, a pistol round and a win on a thrifty does not half make, though. You're going to have to see some substance on the gun rounds here sooner rather than later for Global Esports. It's not like they haven't been given a couple of opportunities and a couple of picks in some of these rounds, but as we've kind of mentioned, this is very comfortable territory for an all-gamers who have already won the first map. And so far, this attacking side has been pretty faultless, but this could be a big opportunity for GE. Money is finally looking a little weaker, and if GE, after flipping the economy a little bit with those pistols, can win this round and capitalize, this could really change up the trajectory of this game. Same setup we've seen from GE before. Harvey TPing into the corner, but all gamers are not interested.
Op set up on that B line, though. Lots of good information. They're going to keep walking up. Might just catch off GRQ here. He's holding, though. He's aware there might be something aggressive going on. He's about to come in.
Nice one.
Picking off GRQ, and now they have the numbers advantage here. GE, they just need to keep it clean. Make sure they're not getting picked off. But Fangir, he's trying to find one with the op. Not going to give it to him, though, because this player's playing on site on Crystal.
Yeah, smokes are down here for all gamers, so that's a bit troublesome. What I can say, though, is if Bai can get onto that site and actually earn himself the pit, put it down, then that might just remedy the situation. It's a contact approach here for an all gamers who were initially letting the operator lead the way, but now they're grouping up towards a ramp. GE quite happy to play the numbers. They've got the Nightfall to lean on in the retake.
Retake could be online. Patman playing in that spawn. We have 3 players already over here. Cured, though, trying to go for something aggressive. Fangir gets punished through that orb by Patman. Crystal on site. Bai gets one. Crystal gets another. Javi, the pit actually spent. And now pushing towards it. Kira with 2. 5 HP left. 2v1, though. 16 seconds on the clock. He has the rocket online, trying to go for one. Udo not going to give it to him. The flank from Autumn, going to catch him off guard. The spike might be able to be planted, but it's not looking too good. 5 HP, and Autumn gets that kill.
It's a big round for GE to win. Money not great on the side of all gamers, but I don't think that the going gets any easier for a GE who only get through this round with 2 weapons. One of them will be the operator. My big concern lies in the fact that All gamers have a lot of ultimates coming into this next one. Bladestorm, Showstopper, and a Viper. It's a round that, a Viper roll rather. It's a round that really kind of plays itself sometimes. Open up with the rocket and then put the pit down. And Bob's your uncle.
30 seconds left. Yeah, this is more of the play style that I like to see from GE. Getting aggressive in that first early round.
What a pit. Honestly, we saw the greatest Viper utility in that round. The snake bite from the defense went into Narnia. And then the pit just goes nowhere.
I know. That's why I heard the voice line. I'm like, there's no way that was spent there. But a fast start here for all gamers. 5 stacked towards this B. They're trying to punish any push. They realize the op isn't here and full sent it into an execute on site. Javi, Patman, really nice crossfire. By gets the pick. The rocket is spent. Shrimp trading. By though, getting that pick onto Udo. 2v2.
Yeah, I feel like GE may have overcooked a little bit, but with both of the players in some pretty good positions, then they could definitely pick up the pieces rather. And there you go. Crystal will do exactly that. From the backside of the pillar, very steady there. He had ordered to back him in from Heaven's side, and all gamers trying to be a little bit dangerous, chucking a couple ults on into that one, but not walking away with the round.
GE all of a sudden online, understanding how they want to play their defensive side. They've been snowballing these rounds now. And it's looking really nice. I'm really enjoying the way that they're playing this. And of course, by delaying for so long on site, doing a good job. Him and Javi and Patman crossfiring on B. It's just made so much sense. And now they're setting up Autumn for success towards that A main. But the players and all gamers, rough by, just the Guardian, 2 stingers.
Yeah, tried to force into that last one. Autumn's got on this deep A info line. Crystal trying to zone all gamers away. GE well and truly aware that they're in the middle of the map. In goes the Cloudburst. It's actually a fake dash in from Fangir.
Oh, shit.
Was going to be used against him. Patman activating in from ropes, and it's a huge crunch there from GE. Great reaction.
What a beautiful collapse. So quick to make sure that these players don't get all that space towards Heaven. And Javi just sitting on site, aware in Heaven that they can't be pushed up. And now GRQ just going to try to get one. He might meet Autumn here, but Autumn hears him running around. The pick onto GRQ. Man, this is looking so good for GE. This next gun round, though, it's going to be a really big telltale if all gamers can figure out how to adapt to this.
Yeah, I think both of these maps have been pretty tight, honestly. I don't think either one of these teams... It could kind of be a weird situation. Like, you think regionally, playing against a team that you haven't really played before, the veto can get a little bit weird sometimes. But I think both of these teams kind of ended up with maps that they were quite comfortable on. All gamers for sure knew their way around Sunset, despite not playing it in a while. And like I said, I mean, credit to all gamers for backing themselves. You're going to be confident on one of your best maps. But like I said, GE have been playing this map since...
Nandita?
I mean, every iteration
yeah.
of this current roster, going back to
అది నీది సిటిజన్ ఐడి ఉందా?
Autumn on this deep A info
ఇప్పుడా?
line has a little bit of a greeting with
అంటే నువ్వు లైవ్ లో ఎప్పుడన్నా ఐడి చూపించినావా?
లేదు.
అలా అక్కడ లైవ్ పెట్టలే ఫస్ట్ థింగ్.
నేను పెట్టినా
మనం పెట్టింది ఒకసారి పెట్టింది మొన్న. ఇప్పుడు పాసిబుల్ అవుతుందా బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఓపెన్ చేయడానికి?
సరే వదిలే మన నేను చూసుకుంటా వదిలే.
ఒకవేళ అవుతుందంటే అది లాక్స్ చెక్ చేసి పేమెంట్ చేసేస్తాడంట, దానికి మళ్ళీ యాడ్ చేస్తాడంట.
దగ్గర ఎంత ఉన్నాయి? 4 lakhs కదా?
అదే 10 lakhs ఉండే.
మొన్న 4 lakhs అని చెప్పినావు, మొన్న 4 lakhs అని చెప్పినావు.
10 lakhs ఉన్నాయా? చేపలు అమ్మినా
నాకు 4 లక్షలనే అన్నది.
నేను అది అట్లా చెప్పిన అంత ఉట్టి అని. కానీ 10 lakhs ఉండే నిజంగా.
నమ్మినప్పుడు అట్లా చెప్పకూడదు, తప్పు. నిజంగా నేను ఏమనుకున్నా తెలుసా, 5 lakhs కింద తక్కువ ఉందంటే నా శాలరీ ఉన్నది మొత్తం ఇద్దాం అనుకున్నా. నేను ఎట్లా మాట్లాడినా
ఏంటండి?
నేను నీకు మొన్న
5 lakhs కిందంటే
నేను అసలు నా దగ్గర ఉన్న 18 lakhs ఉన్నాయి, మొత్తం ఇద్దాం అనుకున్నా. నువ్వు కరెక్ట్ వాల్యూ చెప్పలే, అందుకే 1,00,000 ఇచ్చిన. అవును వస్తారా అక్క కస్టమర్ అప్పుడు?
ఇది బంద్ చేసి రావాలా?
అది
బంద్
ఇంపార్టెంట్.
చేయొచ్చా? ఇది అయిపోయి ఇది బంద్ చేయొచ్చా సెంటి బై?
స్ట్రీమ్ అది మ్యాచ్ కంప్లీట్ కావాలిగా.
మ్యాచ్ అదే 6-5 నడుస్తుంది.
ఒక టీమ్‌ది అంటే ఒక గ్రూప్‌ది అయిపోని. ఇద్దరికైతే ఇంక 3 మ్యాచ్‌లు ఉంటాయి టోటల్.
3 మ్యాచ్‌లా?
ఆ 3 మ్యాచ్‌లు ఆడతారు. 2 టీమ్‌లు. ఇప్పుడు ఇంకా
సెకండ్
గ్లోబల్ వాళ్ళదే నడుస్తుందిగా.
అవునవునవును.
ఇప్పుడు సెకండ్ నడుస్తుంది కదా! దీంట్లో ఒకవేళ ఇది గెలిచిపోయారనుకో
ఆ!
అయిపోయినట్టే. ఒకవేళ గెలవలేదనుకో అదే ముందు ఎవరు గెలిచిర్రో
ఆ!
ఇంకో మ్యాచ్ ఉంటది.
ఓకే.
దాని తర్వాత అయిపోతది. కష్టమైతే. నువ్వు చూస్తావా సంతు బ్రో?
నాకు అవ్వదు కదా చూసానికి. నాకు నిజంగా చెప్పాలంటే ఎడ్మిన్ లేదు సిటీలో.
యాహ్! మరి ఎట్లా చూస్తున్నావు?
నేను డిస్కౌంట్ నుంచి చూస్తాను. డిస్కౌంట్ యాక్సెస్
ఫోన్ నంబర్‌కి ఏమన్నా తెలుస్తదా?
అట్లా తెలుస్తుంది బ్రో మరి. నా దగ్గర అడ్మిన్ ఉంటే వస్తుంది. కానీ అడ్మిన్ లేదు కదా. అడ్మిన్ చేయడానికి ఎవరు లేరు మొత్తం సిటీలో.
సరే ఇది అయిపోయే వరకు ఒక అయితది బ్రో 7 ఆరామ్సే అయితది.
నా దగ్గర ఇంకా బ్లాక్ మనీ ఉన్నాయి. ఆ బ్లాక్ మనీని నేను వైట్ మనీ చేసినాననుకో నా దగ్గర 15 లాక్స్ దాకా అయితాయి.
హలో బ్లాక్ మనీ అన్నాను.
ఆ! 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 అమ్మా! అమ్మా!
పోలీస్ అయినా. సిటీలో పోలీస్ అయినా.
సరే అక్క ఇస్తా 15 lakhs సగం ఇస్తావా షేర్?
వస్తా నేను ఇది అయిపోయినాక వస్తా.
సగం షేర్ ఇస్తావా?
ఆ?
15 lakhs సగం షేర్.
నేను అడగను నానా ఆక్షన్ ఉంది.
అయితే అవన్నీ వేరే.
ఆక్షన్‌లో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేయాలా?
ఓ 640 అట్లా వస్తదా సంతు బ్రో? అయిపోతదా అప్పటిలోపల?
ఉందా? చాలా ఉన్నాయి టెస్టింగ్.
నా పైసలు ఇంకొకరి దగ్గర ఉన్నాయి. ఇంకా ఉన్నాయి నా పైసలు.
ఎల్ఎక్స్ దగ్గర రావు నీ పైసలు నేను పీకేస్తాలే.
ఎల్ఎక్స్ దగ్గర కాదు వేరే వాళ్ళ దగ్గర ఉన్నాయి.
ఎవరు విష్ణువా?
ఎల్ఎక్స్ తప్ప ఎవరితో తిరిగివే.
లేదు.
విష్ణు ఉన్నాడుగా.
విష్ణు దగ్గర బొంగు ఉంది. ఏం వేయలేదు. ఒక్కటి కూడా ఇలా పైసలు అయినాయి. కావాలి నీ ఎట్లా.
ఈయన ఎస్ఎంలో అంటుండు విష్ణుకి 30 లక్షలు ఇచ్చిండంట పెట్రోల్ బంప్‌కి. ఒక పైసా ఇయ్యలే బ్రో ఎన్ని రోజులకెళ్ళి అని చెప్పేసి అంటుండు. కరెక్ట్ ఆక్షన్ టైంకి అడుగుతా ఇయ్యమని చెప్తా ఉంటాడు.
అవును అక్క ఏం చేస్తుంది దానికి వాలంటీర్ చూస్తుంది. వాళ్ళని చూస్తే నీకేం వస్తుంది అక్క?
వాచ్ పార్టీ అది.
అంటే పైసలు ఏమైనా ఇక్కడ
పైసలంటే మనకు నెక్స్ట్‌కెళ్ళి ఇస్తాడు. మనం ఇప్పుడు ప్రాపర్‌గా చేస్తే నెక్స్ట్‌కెళ్ళి వాడే తీసుకుంటాడు. అసలు ఈ వాచ్ పార్టీ యాక్సెస్ రావడమే ఎక్కువ.
అట్లా ఉండకూడదు. మన వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చేటట్టు ఉండాలి. అట్లా ఉంటే నచ్చిగా
ఇప్పుడు వీళ్ళది కూడా ఉన్నాయి. వీళ్ళ కూడా రివార్డ్స్‌ది ఒకటి అప్లికేషన్ ఉంది. ఇంకో లింక్ పెట్టా చూడు నందిత డిస్కార్డ్‌ల. తర్వాత అది లాగిన్ చెయ్యి. నువ్వు స్ట్రీమ్ ఇన్ని గంటలు చేస్తే వాడు ఏదో గిఫ్ట్ కార్డ్స్ ఇస్తుండు.
అవునా? ఓకే.
నేను ఇప్పటిదాకానే చూసిన. నీకు అప్పుడు లింక్ పెట్టినా.
చేస్తా.
ఈ అప్రూవల్ వస్తేనే దాంట్లో అప్రూవల్ వస్తదంట. మనకి దీంట్లో అప్రూవల్ వచ్చింది కాబట్టి దాన్ని అప్లై చేసుకోవాలి. దాంట్లో కూడా అప్రూవల్ వస్తే మనకి ఇన్ని గంటలు స్ట్రీమ్ చేస్తే ఇట్లా రివార్డ్ అని చెప్పి వస్తది.
అవును మీరు హెడ్ ఫోన్స్ వాడతారు కదా అందరూ? ఓకే.
హెడ్ ఫోన్సా?
అదే అక్క ఏదో ఒకటి సౌండ్ స్పీకర్ లో ఉండకుండా.
ఏదో ఇయర్ ఫోన్స్, హెడ్ ఫోన్స్.
నాకు అసలే నోట్లో బూతులాగు. మొన్న ఎవరో ఒక అమ్మాయి వచ్చింది. వేదశ్రీ గేమింగ్ ఏదో. అది నేను మామూలు తిట్టిన. పాపం మామ అనుకుని ఆమె ఫీల్ అయింది. తర్వాత చెప్పింది స్పీకర్ ఉందని. నేను చెప్పా అక్క నేను నిన్ను అనను. నాకు భూత పదంలాగా అలవాటు అయినాయి అవి. మా సైడ్ ఎక్కువ మాట్లాడతారు అని చెప్తే అప్పుడు కూల్ అయింది.
ఈ సిటీలో ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారు అమ్మాయిలు?
ఆరుగురేమో
నాకు
ఉన్నారు.
ఓన్లీ ఆ రౌడీ గేమింగ్ ఏదో ఉంది చూడు.
వాళ్ళకి
ఆమె
పంపిరంట.
ఒక్కతినే
వాళ్ళు
ఇష్టం
ఏమో
అంతే.
రౌడీ క్వీన్ నాకు కూడా ఒక ఆమెనే తెలుసు.
ఉన్నారు వేరే గేమింగ్ అని.
ఎంతమంది?
నలుగురు ఉన్నారు.
నాతో కలిపా లేకపోతే నాతో కలుపుకున్నా?
ఇద్దరు కలపకుండా ఇద్దరు అడ్మిన్లు ఇద్దరు వాళ్ళు
హిందీ వాళ్ళా లేకపోతే అందరు తెలుగేనా?
ఇద్దరు తెలుగు ఇద్దరు హిందీ. వాళ్ళు ఎట్లా అంటే పీడీ యాక్టివ్ ఉంటేనే వస్తారు లేకపోతే రారన్నమాట. వాళ్ళు ఇద్దరు ఆఫీస్ కొడతారు.
వచ్చి
రాబరీ
రాబరీ
కొట్టుకోవడం అంతేనా?
డ్రైవింగ్ బాగా చేస్తారు ఒకళ్ళు బాగా.
Starting off this defensive side in a good position, the first pistol they've been able to glean for themselves in this game so far.
Lots of noise towards this B main here. The orb getting tapped. GRQ taking a nice bit of damage.
ఈ సర్వర్‌కి జర హిందీ వాళ్ళైనా యూట్యూబర్స్ జర తీసుకురండి బ్రో. దీనికి కిక్‌ది మనం బ్రాండింగ్ చేపియొచ్చు.
Applying a little bit of pressure to unsettle all gamers
Like,
before
Mm.
drilling down Crystal, who's got
చెప్పకూడదు కానీ చెప్తున్నా.
feet on the coffee
ఎవరు
table.
చెప్తారు మళ్ళీ నమ్మింటారు. తెలుగులో ఇంకో సర్వర్ ఉంది కదా ఏటీఆర్పీ అని.
సైలెంట్. నందిత ఒకసారి అది
మ్యూట్ చేయాలా?
ఒకసారి మ్యూట్ చేయి.
ఒక్క నిమిషం. చేసిన ఎల్ల డిస్కార్డ్ వాయిస్ పోదు. చేసిన
Yeah, you just want to make sure that next time for GE on that execute, nobody's just going out alone. That's a little scary for Javi. Getting out of that smoke, no one able to follow up. The explosion wasn't really there for them. Pop play through that smoke just wasn't there either. I think now I'm looking at all gamers, this bonus round. They've been somewhat aggressive before when they've played this. Have a good idea, good plans going into it. A full gun buy from GE. There are 4 players outside of this A, playing really passive, holding. This is what they did all of last map, especially anti-thrifty. But Bai is going to be playing it safe all the way back on A side, while 4 of his players are grouped up towards mid. I say he's safe, but he jumps back into spawn, getting picked off in Autumn. I really like that GE aren't scared to take the rest of that space. Full sight now, getting that spike down. 4 players still in mid from all gamers. It's going to take a while for them to come back to it.
Can't really feel for Bai there. I mean, he walks into traffic. The red man was very much present. So, bit of natural selection, unfortunately. As all gamers organize themselves for a little bit of a flank. Harvey, who was trying to apply some pressure to in the middle of them earlier on in the round, will get hit by the guiding light. Gonna reply with a paranoia, but that doesn't really unsettle all gamers too much. Crystal putting up the wall, zoning with the snake bite. Trailblazer and paranoia will push him back. Patman, they're aware of him in the corner here. They're going to try to push him out. Guiding light and paint shells to follow up. All gamers are scaling in pretty nicely here, but the rest of GE pushing straight through that dark cover on A main. And Fangir, I couldn't even tell you what he was looking at there, quite honestly. He's going to go down to the spike, and GE anti-bonus converted, but not without some losses.
2 guns down, not going to be too harsh on them. Still going to be able to full buy for that next round. And now GE going to be a little bit happier. Trying to understand how they want to play this map. That 4-1 tends to work for them. Maybe we're going to see a little bit more mid control here. Trying to bait out that Sky Util. I just really like the way that All Gamers has been playing well together. The operator online for Fangir as well. He's been doing absolutely phenomenally this whole game. 18 and 11. The first peak, though, going to be towards that B. He's not going to do anything way too aggressive, just holding passively. And for GE, using that Prowler, getting information, but falling back towards that mid.
I mean, this has just been their MO, really. Little bit of pressure in the early round. See if AG do kind of react with anything. You were kind of pointing out some of the aggressive tendencies from all gamers at the best of times, and I think GE are kind of well aware of that. Both of these teams have been playing pretty slow on attack so far in this series, and once again, it's a
అవును.
4 here for
అది
GE.
అంటింగ్ కొన్నాం కానీ కొన్ని డిక్కిలో పెట్టుకున్నాను నేను అంతే.
Did we not watch the same half?
Okay, yeah, true. true. That the first half they were pretty good. Some of the rounds they were slow though.
Fangir, though, he's about to spot out these players. He's going to hear that raise. Roomba, beautiful flick onto Autumn, and now these players flooding into sight for all gamers. Ready to get the pick. GRQ getting Udo 10, shutting him down. This execute absolutely decimated. The spike has been dropped. Crystal on the other side of the map getting a pick towards mid. Reaggressing here, retaking, almost got the pick through the smoke, and Crystal all of a sudden left in a 1v4.
30 seconds.
Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, he was the A lurker earlier on, and they wanted to set him up for a bit of a lurk play in the mid round, but there was no mid round. AG passing the test nicely there. They'll go through this round with 4 guns up. GE, I don't know if their economy can really handle this here. 2 players are looking pretty poor.
7-8.
Gonna have to ask
GE7,
help him out.
AG8.
Yeah, I feel like what we've seen from them, though,
Masartoro.
farming, and Udo one-off rocket. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get it on him. Try to do some sort of quick play off of that, or at least a pop execute. Try to get that right.
Ooh.
I don't think AG would be either. Be well aware that GE will want to be going for those, and this is just one of the best maps to punish that guy. I mean, he's just showing off at this point.
That shot was nasty.
Very something-esque. Is not too surprising given where Fangir comes from.
Oh my god. No high five is crazy. Ah, there it is. We're saved.
No high five until the game is done.
7-9.
This round, though, 2 rifles. The side of GE, their economy is a little bit rough.
లేదు.
To buy next round, though. The line for Fangir. He has all of B main, but these players are going super fast towards B.
Yeah. A lot of bandits in town. Kira.
లేదు ఏజీ గెలిచింది లాస్ట్ మూమెంట్ లా
He's chilling on the B side. B main is
కానీ రొటేషన్ లో మస్తు ఇస్తారు తెలుసా జీఈ వాళ్ళు
Fangir will be a little bit concerned about that.
రొటేషన్స్ కానీ మస్తున్నాయి
Still so scared of this B heaven. This might be the read. AG might be able to get this pick here. That's going to be so much information, especially if they see this raise. Udo walking into this crosshair, but the pick, nothing. He gets a nice tag onto Crystal, 29 HP. The execute, they're going in.
Oh, it's a good pick.
గేమ్ ఆడియో ఆనే ఉంది జస్ట్ డిస్కార్డ్ ఆడియో రాదు
Disaster. What a satchel from Udotan. Operator on the ground in towards spawn side, but GE not overclocking this one. They've got a lot of good ults to work with now. Showstopper on Udotan. Crystal could get the pit down if necessary. Out comes the rocket. GRQ, not even sure if he saw him in the corner there. I don't know where that page shells is going, but Bai is under a lot of pressure. And as such, will fall to Udotan, who has just cracked that round open for GE. And look at all of the guns they picked up as a result. This is massive for the attackers.
Yeah, the winning condition for all gamers there was just Fangir getting that shot off on B main. But also Kira playing so close, a little bit rough. Especially when you know that they're on that low buy, instantly getting punished. Crazy round here from GE, but I really like the reads. Definitely scary coming back into that B main. They knew the op was set up somewhere, but a nice gamble, especially because they caught off Kira.
I mean, that is a calling masterclass from Javi. They are playing a very similar comp themselves, and they know how to play around that B main operator. Something that has been piloted many, many moons ago by Paper X. Patman knows his way around this comp. They know the theory and how to deal with it, and I think that's a perfect example of them just really utilizing all of the strengths of the comp that AG are trying to employ and using it against them there.
And a timeout now coming in from the side of all gamers. They're obviously going to be upset with that one. Feels a little bit like deja vu from that last map, pausing after getting thrifty.
That's a round that loses you the game.
True. And now they've usually had a good result off of these timeouts, just knowing what they have to clean up. But GE, the confidence. I love that they're still so confident no matter what they're doing. They were down, but it didn't matter. If I'm all gamers, though, I'm not sweating too hard. I feel like their general macro on the defensive side has been working really well for them. Again, just whiffing a couple shots, but also playing a little bit too close. They didn't have time to re-clear that B heaven once they did take it with their thrifty. So it's just an unknown place for them. The rotates just weren't correct. The positioning just wasn't there in time. Now we're going to see a low buy from the side of all gamers.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed bag. trying to min-max the money to go a little bit deeper into this game. It's still got plenty of legs in it. GE, great economy. And we were talking about how many rifles they picked up in just that round previous. 4 stack over here towards B early on. Autumn dodges the boom bot nicely. And there's no Sky there for GE. So he won't be able to get healed up as we go deeper into this round. You can see GE on the other side of things. They were looking to really punish aggression on the extremities. And this is a classic Patman move on an anti-eco, just walking straight through the middle of the map.
That dog might be able to spot him out, though. Sees him in ropes. Fangir getting the pick onto Patman, and again, the punish.
Yeah.
But these players, they're zooming into the safe side, trying to get it.
He is straight up not having a good time, bruv. Crystal gonna put the pit down. They're really trying to dig their heels in. Autumn is cripplingly low from earlier, and that's an operator going down. Showstopper going into the side, GE. This is a pretty big fumble after a massive thrifty in just the round previous. AG take a timeout and respond with one of their own.
Beautiful timeout call. Going all the way back, getting the read as well onto Patman. They've known and they've done their homework to see that his tendencies are to walk up mid. Getting that pick was beautiful. The re-clear shrimp, beautiful with the util as well.
I mean, I don't know, man. I just, it's illegal as someone from Pacific to question Patman because he's just so good. But yeah, some of the rounds this series, there's been some great ones. There's been some not so great ones. And that one was unfortunately more of the latter.
Yeah.
All dealt with by Kira. GE. They do have a follow-up buy to this one. Autumn's found GRQ, but Kira able to safeguard ropes for the meantime. Oh my god, Patman has dodged the Trailblazer. That is perfection. Kira's found Harvey in the meanwhile. This is so disjointed from both sides, but Patman, a little bit unhappy with how that last round went, is starting to take this one over. Spike being picked up now by Crystal. As the Prowler hasn't cleared out by, that's not the timing that Patman was looking for, and now we're into a 2-on-2.
Operator with knives online for Fangir if he wants to pop those. The op and knives fight potentially here because Autumn's also set up. A lot of delay. The orb. Making sure that spike gets planted and just holding this right side of heaven. They're going to be able to spot each other out. The timing on these scopes. Not seeing Jet's head. Autumn hearing those knives getting popped. A little bit spooked. Popping his. 2v2.
Oh, the drop down. Punished by Crystal and Pi under too much pressure there. GE able to pick themselves up another round after a little bit of an upset in the round previous. We, had some messiness, has to be said, but good recovery from GE.
You question Patman's timing. Look at that round.
That's what I'm saying. You can't question it. You can't question it because then he does this.
He dodged the dog through the smoke.
Could you ever tell him to stop? No. There is no stopping.
I mean, he wins rounds like that. I would never tell him to stop. The op online, though, for Autumn, going for an A Heaven pick this time.
Yep.
But Fangir is actually about to peek into it.
Oh, this could not be good news here for Autumn. Would be a cracker of a shot if he comes away with it, but that angle is far too favorable for Fangir. Udatan also spotted outside of A. Throws out his paint shells. He's seeing a lot of green on his screen, and I'm not talking about the new Shrek movie. Shrib now finds himself a pick, but he doesn't even clock onto the fact that Harvey's just TP'd into the back of the site, which is not ideal at all. Now GE definitely have a chance in this round.
Using that smoke, that dark cover, tapping the spike, trying to find any numbers advantage, anyone giving them that peek. But of course, All Gamer is going to play with so much discipline. Autumn, Fangir, going with that op. Spotting, not going to catch anyone off guard. Nice off angle here from Patman. Now the flank.
Op being swapped over to GRQ. They're going to kick this one off with the paranoia, and Kira will almost certainly dive into the site. Harvey can't see a thing. Wants to play that close angle. He's been spotted out. The Cloudburst is maybe helping him a little bit, but not enough. Patman only able to come away with one, and that is perfection for All Gamers. Mana advantage, all the high percentage pieces of utility exactly where you'd want them.
2 rounds in a row, able to pick him off.
And a timeout for GE.
nakundi.
Feels like we're going into the dying hours of this series unless they can show some resilience. Being a very, very back and forth game indeed against an All Gamers who look like they're in pretty good form. game against Heretics, I felt like I was seeing some good stuff for them. We've talked about how they've been pretty good in China so far. Great kickoff and just missing out there in stage 1
For
to go
me,
to another international.
for me, I'm really surprised with their map pool because All Gamers, they've kind of had a history of not having the deepest map pool, not the best at rounding out what they can play. But now we've seen their Sunset. We saw their Haven versus Team Heretics, which was one of those maps that we were really
నావి
questioning
కూడా
a long
ఇల్లీగల్
time ago.
చేపలు అలానే
And it's
పెట్టినా
just so often now that we've seen their playbooks. They've done a really good job this off time when they did not qualify for Masters London. They managed to do a lot of really good work on their fundamentals, a lot of making sure they're studying and putting in the work to study and have these setups on these maps. And now 11-9. Kind of a weird buy, mixed buy here on the side of Global Esports. 2 rifles. It's looking a little rough.
Let's see what they can come up with. Quick one over towards the B side of the map. Fangir on the line, scanned out by the Horn and pushed away by the utility. That's a decent entry on in there for GE with a 1-for-1 onto GRQ. Kira on the same line, spotted out there. The dark cover going to obscure his vision as Patman gets this spike down. Oh no, it's missed heaven. There is a bit of a gaping gap in the smokes there for GE. It's been thrown a little bit too quickly. Dink onto Fangir. He's lucky to be alive. I got to be honest here. Yudatan not seen by the Boombot, but will be by the Trailblazer as he tries to zone them away with the satchels. Still a 4-on-4 here. AG really struggling to break through on this retake until Kira finds an entry. Great reply from Patman. That gives him the Nightfall, and I don't think that AG can complete this retake now. Shrimp's the only player high on HP. That's a decent angle for him to take that peak, but still not good enough. One tap in reply for Patman, and Fangir will get an exit, but that's all.
ఆ వెహికల్ పేరు నాకు తెలియదు
Maybe on the
ఒక్కటే ఉండే
with their gun buy because it feels like every time
బ్లూ కలర్
they have a lot more confidence, or at least on the weird buy. And now going into this next round, I'm gonna be interested to see what they change up here for All Gamers. Fangir, he's had success in A. He's had success in mid. He's struggling a little bit just with that B main pick when he falls.
స్టీమ్ లా అంటున్నావా
Good job, but then the setup just falls apart.
మళ్ళీ ఏం చెప్తున్నా అర్థమైతలే
But instead, it's a really fast A split.
Kira opens it up well. Yudatan down early. Autumn looking to try to follow up on the fact that they've lost the opening pick, but Shrimp has got Kira covered. Healed up in the corner despite the fact that he's vulnerable for the snake bite, and it's just not comfortable enough. Autumn, I'm surprised he comes away with that one. The satchel was definitely making him uncomfortable. GRQ.
Though Fangir has full mid control, that Prowler is going to get Shrimp. Nothing too crazy. Falls. GRQ still has a paranoia online. Patman really trying to get Shrimp to peek out of that corner. The re-clear, though, towards A Heaven is going to get delayed as Bai puts up his wall, uses that molly as well. The snake bite. So much time wasted here. All Gamers doing a good job of baiting.
They're well aware of where GE are. 30 seconds on the clock, and you're going to go around the world to beat.
30 seconds.
I mean, they were just clearing out the flank, I guess. Both teams well aware of each other's movements here. Shrimps tucked into the back of the site. Bai with the jump spot will confirm GRQ. It's a little bit of a messy spray, but the paranoia looks pretty good, and All Gamers peeking off the back of that. Series point for them.
Again, these setups from All Gamers are so clean. I really like to see it off the back of those first initial peaks. I really like that they hear that satchel going fast towards A Heaven, and immediately the answer, the crossfire, to delay a little bit longer. No overextension here by Shrimp as well, enabling him to just delay for so long. Patman using all his utility to try to clear him out from sight, to try to bait some sort of peak, and it just didn't work. And now all of a sudden, this last potential round, low buy, weird buy, forced buy from Global Esports.
Yeah, they're shoving their way through the middle of the map to meet up with Crystal. Yudatan is one off the showstopper, but he's lost Patman in the meantime.
ఏజీ గెలుస్తుంది అనుకుంటా అయిపోయింది ఆల్మోస్ట్ అయిపోయింది అంటున్నా ఏజీ గెలుస్తుంది
He's hungry for more. Didn't hit that one onto Crystal. He's just sitting in the snake bite. But
10-12 నడుస్తుంది
rest of the boys, All Gamers on the brink of closing this one out unless you get something outrageous.
ఏంది అచ్చా గ్లోబల్ ఇవ్వచ్చు కానీ 2 వర్సెస్ 4 నడుస్తుంది
The warning stunning shot from Fangir. GE just continuing to tap the spike, just praying for a mistake from all gamers, but
లేదు
it's being given here.
GE2 ఇప్పుడు 1 వర్సెస్ 4 అయిపోయింది.
All down to Crystal in a 1-on-4. He cannot see a thing. Needs to pick up the spike here.
కొడితే సెట్
And up on the other side.
మస్తు.
He's walking in towards his death. All gamers holding the line, chipping down.
ఓ ఓ ఓ ఓ ఓ ఓ ఓ
And Kira and Fangi are going to give
ఇద్దరిని కొట్టిండు, ఇంకా ఇద్దరు ఉన్నారు.
If he could get the spike and get the plant down, then he will actually have a pit, and this is a very winnable 1-on-4. This could be one of the best ones you've seen in quite some time. I cannot believe that shot has connected from Fangir.
లేదు లేదు.
Jump spot in from Kira. It's another fake plant. He's just peppering away at him. He has to commit to the plant now, and Kira will go on in, try to cancel it, and he'll be successful.
షిట్ బ్రో,
Climactic end there for all
టైం
gamers.
లేకుండా కొట్టేసిండు తెలుసా.
Either missing out on an
కొట్టిండు కానీ టైం లేదు, టైం అయిపోయింది.
be knocked out of EWC.
GE at least redeeming a lot of what they have, showing up really well this matchup. They just had that slow start versus MIBR and couldn't get the ball rolling, but this time they really put their all
Nice
into
game.
it. But of course, 2 losses, lots of stories around them, lots of interest, especially with the removal of their coach. But it
అయిపోయింది, గుడ్ బైస్ అయిపోయినాయి.
they have a lot more to work on. For all gamers, though, a beautiful ending here. Beautiful start, sorry, for their story for the rest of this game. The rest of this matchup.
అయిపోయింది,
They struggled
winners
to prove
AG.
themselves. They struggled to qualify for Masters, but now they've won a game here at EWC.
And well earned, honestly. I think they probably
బంద్ చేయొచ్చా ఇప్పుడు ఇది?
GE giving them a run for their money though. I think that
జిటో
the first
తర్వాత
series of
ఇప్పుడు
GE
చూడ
is
GTN వస్తున్నావు, నా పైసలు కావాలి నాకు.
I felt like on both maps they had the potential to close it out, but as I've said